Welcome to live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships from Melton Hill Lake in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. The second day of finals, a little bit cooler today on Melton Lake, but a lot of hot competition going on. I'm Mark Purcell with Willie Black at the finish line here at Melton Hill Lake, bringing you the call of all of the finals happening this afternoon with the first race in the starting blocks right now. The mixed four final for the Category E age group. In Lane 1, the Masters Coaching Composite. Lane 2 is Chinook. Lane 3, Carnegie Lake Composite. Lane 4 is Ann Arbor. Lane 5, St. Louis. And Lane 6, San Diego. Still going through alignment up at the starting blocks, and with a little bit of breeze this afternoon, that may pose some challenges for these crews. Ann Arbor, one of the fast qualifiers for this final, rowing on Argo Pond, which has hosted nationally competitive rowing since the University of Michigan men's crew team began rowing there back in 1976. Ann Arbor Rowing Club started out being known as Arbor Rowing and joined them there in the early 1980s. So Ann Arbor Rowing in Lane 4 of this championship final in the mixed fours, Category E, at the starting line waiting to take off. A little cooler today. Well, actually, the temperature warmer, but the humidity less. 89 degrees as the competition gets underway. 53% humidity. Still has a heat index of 94, but the hot competition is already underway as the mixed fours are out of the start and on their way down this 1,000-meter course. Again, Lane 1, Masters Coaching Composite. That will be on the far side of the course, or to the right of your screen if you're watching the live stream. Chinook is in Lane 2, Carnegie Lake Composite in Lane 3, Ann Arbor in Lane 4, St. Louis in Lane 5, and San Diego in Lane 6. San Diego well represented so far in these championship finals, and I'm sure will be having their name pop up quite a bit this afternoon as well. You can tell the friends and neighbors or relatives or spouses that the competition is being broadcast live right now on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel, going out with some very beautiful shots. The mixed fours, 2 men, 2 women rowers in each of the boats with a coxswain who can be of either sex. Different form of masters competitions. Early on, it's Chinook, Ann Arbor, and St. Louis plying down the course here. The Carnegie Lake Composite in touch with them as well. With those 4 boats out in front of the field right now, the Masters Coaching Composite just behind. San Diego sticking to the stern of the St. Louis boat in Lane 6 with just about 3/4 of a boat length back. A little bit of a breeze, if I can judge from where I'm sitting. It seems there's a bit of a cross breeze going across the course, but we'll have to let the rowers let us know as they come down. Through the 500-meter mark, Chinook still battling with Ann Arbor, St. Louis in the mix right there. San Diego sticking with them, the Carnegie Lake Composite as well. About a boat length back to the Masters Coaching Composite boat in Lane 1. Four-minute centers, races every 4 minutes this afternoon coming down the course. So a lot of racing will be happening. If you tuned in earlier for the finals coverage here on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel, you may have been disappointed that we didn't start at 1:30. Well, there was an hour-long weather delay, fog delay this morning again, so competition began at 10, not 9. And thus the afternoon session began at 2:30, not 1:30. So underway now, and here they come. Chinook and Ann Arbor battling it out with the boat from St. Louis. Carnegie Lake Composite and San Diego, they're battling for the 4th place position at the moment. as they are 50 meters from the finish line here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. First race of the second day of finals. Championship finals going for the gold. Chinook pulls ahead of the boat from Ann Arbor, and at the finish line by half a boat length, it's Chinook winning the gold in the mixed 4 Category E final. Ann Arbor getting the silver. The bronze will go to St. Louis, with the Carnegie Lake Composite right in there with them in 4th. Crossing the line 5th, it's San Diego. And then the Masters Coaching Composite rounding out the field in the first final of the day, the mixed 4 Category E. All the letters going with the categories, of course, denoting different age ranges. E, the 55 to 59 age category. We stay on schedule all afternoon. These championship races will be rolling down the course between now and 10 minutes past 6 o'clock. So stay tuned if you're watching on the live stream, and sit back and enjoy the breeze and the great sights of this championship racing. A reminder that if you have finished racing or perhaps didn't make it to the finals, that the beer tent is open and will be until 8 o'clock this evening. Crafters Brew will be offering up a lot of local craft beers for your tasting in the beer tent right adjacent to the finish line. In the meantime, the mixed double final in the C category, the 43 to 49 range on the water now. In Lane 1, the Lincoln Park Boat Club Composite. Lane 2 is the Georgian Bay Composite. Lane 3 is a Dallas Composite. Lane 4, Cambridge Composite. Lane 5, the 612 Endurance Composite. And in Lane 6, Greater Columbus, the only non-composite boat in this championship race. Again, the mixed category, meaning equal balance of male and female athletes in each of the boats. Lincoln Park Boat Club Composite out to an early lead through the first 350 meters. The Cambridge, let me see, no, that would be the 612 Endurance sticking in there. They're really quite crowded together at the 500-meter mark. The Lincoln Park Boat Club out in the lead with a slight advantage over the Cambridge Composite in lane 4. Then it's the Dallas Composite and 612 Endurance right there behind, fighting for third, with the Greater Columbus boat sticking with that lead pack, and the Georgian Bay Composite just about a half a boat length back. Although only a 1,000-meter race, all the strategy still goes into the 1,000 meters in these Masters Championships. Too fast to start, you can pay for it. No gas in the tank at the end, and you may pay for it too. Final stretch here at the Master National Championships, with a mixed double final in the C category. The Cambridge Composites began to pour it on, challenging the Lincoln Park Boat Club as they're 100 meters from the finish line. Those two boats out in front, quite a battle for the silver shaping up, with Greater Columbus, 612 Endurance, and the Dallas Composite. Georgian Bay Composite not far behind the pack as they come to the finish line. The Cambridge Composite beginning to pick up the pace, and they are pulling past the Lincoln Park boat, and at the finish line, winning the gold, it's the Cambridge Composite boat in lane 4, Lincoln Park in lane 1 coming in second. What a battle for the bronze. I will not be able to call it there, between the Dallas Composite and the 612 Endurance Composite. Then it's Greater Columbus, followed by the Georgian Bay Composite, rounding out the field in the mixed doubles in the C age category. A reminder, when you get a little bit of fanny fatigue from sitting under the tent out of the sun, go and take a look at some of the vendors here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. Some fine food selections, barbecue, some great ices to cool you off, other fine foods, as well as great rowing gear. Check out all the vendors here at the Masters Nationals. And thank you for your support of these vendors supporting our sport. Another mixed double final, this in the A age category, meaning the younger folk, if you may, from 27 to 35. They are in the starting blocks, getting lined up right now, and the flag drops, and they're underway. CRI is in lane 1 with Farmington Valley Composite in lane 2, Passaic River in lane 3, New Orleans in lane 4, Dallas Composite in lane 5, and S&M in lane 6 in the mixed double final for the A age category. New Orleans Rowing Club, by the way, is committed to promoting interest, development, and advancement in the sport of rowing. Volunteer-directed nonprofit educational organization down there in New Orleans. They offer rowing instruction for people of all ages and skill levels, and do both sculling and sweep. Great to see the folks from Louisiana up here. And that club founded in 1987. Mentioned the Dallas Composite. It's actually Texas-Oklahoma together there. Dallas-Tulsa Composite, Ed Prettyman and Dion Sturd rowing there in lane number 5. Passaic River early in the lead, battling with New Orleans. As they come down, they are fairly even as it goes. Right about 400 meters in. Following up there, Dallas Composite, S&M in lanes 5 and 6, side by side, right behind the leaders, Passaic River and New Orleans. I've got a good eye on the CRI and Farmington Valley Composite boat yet. But those two in lanes 3 and 4, the ones out early in the mixed double final for the A category. As the pretty puffy clouds drift by, a little bit of shade afforded to those both on the course and on the shore. Here they are in the Red Boys, the last 250 of the race in the mixed double final. Passaic River and New Orleans have been battling all the way down the course. CRI, Farmington Valley Composite chasing them in lanes 1 and 2. The Dallas Composite and S&M had been early in the race pursuing those. Right now, S&M beginning to pour it on and pulling up to the leaders as they come to 100 meters from the finish. Right now, New Orleans with the advantage over Passaic River, as S&M begins their sprint towards the finish line, leaning into the oars in lane 4. Half a boat length advantage right now, and New Orleans wins the gold. Passaic River looks like they come in second, but it was a big charge from S&M there at the end. They may be there. Another big charge, Farmington Valley Composite, fending off the Dallas Composite, and then comes the CRI boat, finishing up the mixed doubles in the A category here at the Masters Nationals. So the age categories range from AA, then A, B, C, D, up through J, and here are two of the categories from the higher end of the age ranges. There will be two gold medal races happening in this men's open double final for the categories I and J. Racing in the I category in lanes 2, 3, and 4, it's Chinook, Saugatuck, and Potomac. In lane 4 and 5, going for the gold in the J category, it's Rocky Mountain in 5 and Colorado Composite in 6. At the finish, or excuse me, at the start, being aligned and waiting for that flag to drop. Still waiting patiently as the referee is polling the crews. And they're off. The flag's down, and the men's open double final in the I and J categories underway. Chinook again in lane 2, Saugatuck in lane 3. Potomac in lane 4, racing for the gold in the I category. In the J category, Rocky Mountain in lane 5 and Colorado Composite in lane 6. So the I category, 75 to 79-year-olds. The J category, those 80 plus. A little bit of steering issues for Chinook right out of the gate, but they're settling in and doing well. Looks like Potomac may have the dash off the line in the race for the I category gold. It is Potomac and Saugatuck that are battling with Chinook off the pace in the I category men's open double final. Saugatuck with the white tees under the black unis with a white stripe down the side. Easy to pick out on the course. Potomac working hard, trying to keep up with Saugatuck through the first 350. But Saugatuck looking smooth and steady. Saugatuck with almost a boat length lead over Potomac in second place, and about a boat length or two over Chinook in lane 1 on the far side as they cross the halfway point of this 1,000-meter race. Meanwhile, in the J race, the J category race in the men's open double, the Colorado Composite racing Rocky Mountain, and it is Colorado Composite with about a 2-boat length lead over Rocky Mountain right now. Entering into the last quarter of the race, it's Saugatuck leading Potomac and Chinook in the race for the, a little bit of a bobble and crab. Saugatuck has bobbled there just as they enter the Red Buoys. They are stopped dead in the water as the boat from Potomac continues to stroke past. Chinook beginning to catch up with Saugatuck as they continue to recover. They have their oars back in the water. They're beginning to pull again as they enter the Red Buoys, the last quarter of the race. Saugatuck looking strong all the way down the course, and a bit of a bobble as they came into the Red Buoys, and that allowed Potomac to catch up. But here comes Saugatuck trying to roar back and catch up. In the meantime, Colorado Composite still leading Rocky Mountain in the J Championship. And here at the line, winning the gold in the I category for the men's open double, it's the boat from Potomac. Saugatuck having to settle for the second place after the bobble there at 250 meters to go. Chinook will come in third. Here comes the Colorado Composite boat in the J category, looking to win gold in the men's open double. And Colorado Composite wins the gold in the J category for the men's open doubles. The race can work so well for so long, and one minor blip and away you go. Any given day. And here in the J category for the men's open doubles, it's the boat from Rocky Mountain crossing in second in the J category. Meantime, the women's open single final in the F age category underway already with a quick start in lane 3. That would be Cynthia Cole from the Washington Rowing School. F category 60 to 64. So in the women's open single final in the F category, it's Maria Alonso from Cincinnati in lane 1, Leslie Smith from Jacksonville in lane 2, Cynthia Cole from Washington Rowing School in lane 3, Celia Merzbacher from Atomic in lane 4, Karen Purcell from Saugatuck in lane 5, and Joan Pendleton from Palo Alto in lane 6. So as the Washington Rowing School boat in lane 3 that went out to an early lead, Maria Alonso from Cincinnati has now begun to close that gap. In the meantime, trying to bridge the gap there in lane 2, Leslie Smith from Jacksonville. Pulling long and hard. Cynthia Cole from Washington Rowing School. Coming down the course. Beginning their sprint, 30 meters from the finish. Cynthia Cole trying to fend off Maria Alonso, but it is Cole at the finish by half a boat length over Alonso. It's Leslie Smith from Jacksonville coming in third, and here's a battle for fourth between Saugatuck and Palo Alto. Saugatuck will have the advantage over Palo Alto in that race, and rounding out the course, rounding out the field here in the women's open single in the F category. Oh, excuse me, I saw this wrong. It was Leslie Smith from Jacksonville who came in second and was battling with Cynthia Cole. Maria Alonso finishing sixth in the race for the women's open single final. My apologies for the poor eyesight and the bow numbers. Now the men's lightweight singles final in the same category, the F category, those 60 to 64. David Reinisch from Chicago in lane 1. Ken Jacobs from Long Beach in lane 2. Ron Glidden from Long Beach in lane 3. Peter Becker from New Haven in lane 4. Anton Rupert from OKC Riversport in lane 5. And William Kostiff from Potomac in lane 6. Early on, Kent Jacobs and Peter Becker are out front of the field and battling right now. Then it'd be Rupert from OKC Riversport and David Reinisch from Chicago moving on down the course. Here they are, 250 meters from the finish at the 2017 U.S. Masters National Championship at Melton Lake here at Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Is Peter Becker from New Haven leading the pack. Advantage over Ken Jacobs from Long Beach. The rest of the field spread out from there, but Becker and Jacobs have been battling it out for most of the course. Becker looking very confident here in the last 70 meters. Getting to pull up that stroke rate slightly. A little bit of a sprint in the final portion of the race. And winning gold in the men's lightweight singles final for the F category, it's Peter Becker from New Haven. Silver going to Ken Jacobs of Long Beach. Anton Rupert from OKC Riversport with the bronze. Then back to David Reinisch from Chicago and William Costa from Potomac. And Ron Glidden from Long Beach rounding out the 6 boats in this final. We have some special guests here at the tent at the finish line for this live broadcast of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters Nationals as we watch the Women's Open 8 in the D category get underway with Atlanta in lane 1, Masters Coaching in lane 2, Chinook in lane 3, Vesper Composite in lane 4, Chinook B in lane 5, and Chicago in lane 6. And joining me at the microphone are brothers George and Neil Schuster, 2 of the 4 brothers who rowed together. Welcome, gentlemen. Glad to have you here.
Well, thank you. It's a great privilege and a pleasure to be here.
So the brothers, who was the first brother to get into it and swept the rest of them along?
Well, I went to St. Andrew's School in Delaware, which was actually founded as a rowing school. They picked the only lake in the whole state to be where they wanted to be, and they taught rowing, and then I told my brothers about it. Most of the brothers had been track and wrestling stars. In fact, my brothers were all undefeated in high school meets in wrestling. But ultimately, the best sport prevailed for all of us, meaning rowing. Best sport there is.
Indeed. So how long have y'all been rowing, as they say?
Well, we basically had, career one is like high school, college. I was in the Olympic camp in '68. And then after that, hiatus as we pursued life. And then in the late 80s, Rutgers, where Ken and Chris went to school, and Yale had a dual meet, and they decided to have an old person's, veterans, sort of alumni thing. And they let me row in the Rutgers 8 with Chris and Ken, and Fred Borchelt was another one. He'd been on the Olympic team. And the amazing thing was the oldest boat, meaning us, beat everybody else. And we said, this is pretty good. Let's get back into it. So we've been doing it ever since. And then Neil came along very shortly thereafter, and we've been rowing together as a 4. And it's great to row as brothers. We call it the all-bro 4 instead of the all-bro.
Speaking with George Schuster, who, along with his brother Deal and brothers Ken and Chris, rowed together in a 4 as we watch the Women's Open 8 coming down the course here at Melton Lake for the Masters National Championship. It's Chinook and Vesper Composite in the center of the course, going back and forth and back and forth. The Chinook B boat right in that mix as well, with Masters Coaching Atlanta and Chicago trying to keep up with that field. But out front, Vesper Composite and Chinook in the final 250.
It's close when you can hear the coxswains yelling so loud.
Especially at this point in the race. And it is. Both the Chinook boats making a sandwich of the Vesper Composite as they come towards the line, 70 meters from the finish. And it looks like Chinook's beginning to crank it up a little bit. Vesper sees that, begins to respond as well. But they are losing seats as that Chinook boat in lane 3 begins to fly, and as they cross the finish line, it is Chinook winning the gold by 5 seats over the Vesper Composite, then the Chinook B boat right on the stern of the boat from the Vesper Composite. Here comes the race for fourth. There are 3 boats across. On the far side, Atlanta pulling hard, and they will be in fourth. Fifth goes to Chicago, and sixth to the Masters coaching in lane 2. So predominantly sweep. The brothers, you do much sculling at all, or is it predominantly the sweeping you do together?
Sweep. We do some sculling individually from time to time, but basically sweep.
So what do you love most about rowing? What when you first got in a boat and got out there on the water, what was it that captured your imagination and kept you coming back for more, George?
Ironically enough, maybe it's the fact that it's so hard to do. You know, in other words, pain and gain. I believe in hard work, and I think we all do, and we recognize that that's the way to succeed in this sport, maybe more than in any other. And you get fitness as a result, but of course with the brother factor, it just adds. So we get together much more frequently than otherwise we could through rowing.
So with the brothers in the boat, what's the advantage, and is there any disadvantage or con to the pro?
Actually, it's mostly disadvantage. People don't believe that, but if you think of it this way, in this day where so many crews are put together with regard to who's fit this year and who isn't and who's had an accident, we never do that. And so one of us is sick, one of us is not trained as much for whatever reason, it's still all 4. So our pool of, let's say, possible applicants is 4, and so it's a disadvantage.
At any given
people
time.
Don't believe that, but when they think it through, they realize, yeah, you're right.
Well, you want to hand the mic to Neil, and we'll let him chime in a couple. I mean, does he let you talk every now and then, Neil?
What now?
Does he let you talk every now and then?
Every now and then, yeah. Yeah, George pretty well sums it up, though, so that's why I let him do most of the talking. But he's right. It's the actual, before the race and all that, is not that much fun, but when it's actually in the boat, that's when it's actually hard physically and all that, but it's actually mentally very fun.
That's good. Well, we are watching live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Master National Championships here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. The second day of finals, the men's lightweight singles at the starting docks, waiting to get underway, still going through alignment. A little bit of a breeze here on Melton Lake, and the flag drops, and they're off. In the men's lightweight single final for the D category, it's Jeff Cutler from Malta in lane 2, Christopher Montanari from Chicago in lane 3, Brian White from Greater Dayton in lane 4, Philip Bozinski, unaffiliated, rowing in lane 5, and Helmut Berthold from Greater Columbus in lane 6, the men's lightweight singles in the D. So how often have the brothers raced here at Melton Hill Lake?
Well, we've been here 3 times. This is the 3rd time, and it's a beautiful venue. We like the refrigerator aspect, that the water is much colder than a lot of other places. And I see that's the disadvantage of that is the fog in the morning is hurt us in terms of starting times. But, yeah, this is the 3rd time. We like it here. It's really nice.
So home water, what's home water for the Schuster brothers?
Well, I'd say there's no home water. Let's call San Diego the home water. That's what we wrote for.
Okay.
But you want to hear a small world story about the brothers, because we're not just 4 brothers. We're 2 sets of twins less than a year apart.
Wow.
And that was pretty unique back in that day. And it led to a very small world story. 1 year at the head of the Charles, we finished 2nd to Dallas. They had a very good crew. And Mike Morshauser, who rows out of Dallas, was home the next month in North Carolina for Thanksgiving, and he said to his mother, "We beat these brothers, and we talked to them, and nice guys and all that, but I forget their name. But they're 2 sets of twins born less than a year apart." And his mother said, "Are they the named Schuster?" And he said, "My God, you're right." And it turns out his mother and my mother were roommates in college, and the uniqueness. If he had said 4 brothers, she wouldn't have put it together. But as soon as he said 2 sets of twins less than a year apart, that's when she said Schuster.
Wow, small world indeed. And when it comes to rowing, you cross paths, I imagine, many times with many friends, too, in your travels.
Lots of friends. Mike's not here this year. I don't know what happened to him, but he's rowed with us and against us.
Watching the men's lightweight single final for the D category, Jeff Cutler from Malta out to an early lead. Brian White from Greater Dayton, Christopher Montanari, Philip Bozinski, Helmut Berthold, all racing down the course with 300 meters or so to go. Very tight race for these lightweights in the D age category, the 50 to 54.
Should I add, my mom and dad get a kick out of the brother thing, too. They're still alive. My dad will be 98 in November and my mother 95 in October.
Wow. Well, congratulations. You raised some great sons. Jeff Cutler from Malta continuing to race down the course. Helmut Berthold from Greater Columbus pursuing, as is Christopher Montanari from Chicago. Oh, it looks like Montanari from Chicago just caught did not flip, but was able to catch himself, but that brought him dead in the water. Nice recovery there for Montanari. In the meantime, Jeff Cutler from Malta continuing to streak towards the finish line now. Helmut Berthold from Greater Columbus in second, with Philip Bozinski, the unaffiliated boat, in lane 5, looking like he might capture third. But at the line, it is Jeff Cutler from Malta, winning the gold in the men's lightweight single final in the D category. Helmut Berthold from Greater Columbus crossing in second for the silver. Philip Bozinski, the unaffiliated boat, in lane 5, gets the bronze. Here comes Christopher Montanari after grabbing that crab right there towards the finish, coming in fourth. And rounding out the field in the men's lightweight singles in the D category, Brian White from Greater Dayton, stroking towards the finish line. So do all the Schuster brothers live in or around San Diego, or do you have to travel to meet up?
We travel to meet up. By the way, I'm just looking at. I'm amazed at the number of mishaps in just the last few minutes. Isn't that a little unusual to see? What we've seen, at least 2 or 3.
Well, it's interesting because yesterday during the finals, there were a number of boats that flipped right in the finish area. 3 boats, 3 I can tell you for sure. One of the boats flipped a mere 5 meters from the finish, and they were in a medal position when they did, and that just has to be heartbreaking. But a lot of crabs today, but it does appear that the water's reasonably flat. I'm not sure whether it's just the breeze giving it grief.
It's wonderful water, actually. It's it's not a mirror, but it's pretty flat. Amazing.
Good racing now, and speaking of the racing, Women's Open double finals in the B category, with Austin in lane 1, Dallas in lane 2, Vesper in lane 3, Sarasota Scullers in lane 4, Texas Center in lane 5, and Nashville in lane 6.
Sometimes mishaps happen when you have close races more, when people are really trying extra hard.
And they have been. A number of the mishaps have been boats that were in medal position as they were coming by. So I never can tell on any given day. So right now it looks like the Sarasota Scullers are looking fine. They're in lane 4, zooming down the track. Those distinctive pink unis, they have been leading since the halfway point. Vesper and Dallas trying to keep up. In the meantime, Austin slightly off the pace over there in lane 1, with Nashville and Texas Center closest to the shore, fighting for the 4th position right now. The Sarasota Scullers have a swing to that boat. Here they come. The Women's Open double final in the B category, 36 to 42. What a sight to see on this beautiful Tennessee afternoon. Coming to the finish, not resting on their laurels, picking up the pace. Here's the boat from Sarasota Scullers, winning the gold in the Women's Open double final. It's Vesper in second, Dallas in third, And here comes a battle for fourth between the Texas Center and Nashville in lanes 5 and 6. Nashville with a big pole about 10 meters from the end, and they will get that to fourth place finish. Then Texas Center in 5th and Austin in 6th.
One of the things that's interesting to me about Masters rowing is the demonstration of how good it is for your health, because you look at the wide spread in ages. And I remember when we got back into it in the late 80s, we were C category. And we used to laugh at the people in F to death. And now we're H. So, and I hope we're Z, at least.
Eventually. Well, you can only go to J, George. So,
right.
So what races do you get together for? If you don't get together often, here you are at the Masters Nationals. What other regattas do you enjoy?
We did the Diamond States this year. Was our only other one this year so far. And I went to Henley with the high school guys this year in the Masters Henley, the St. Andrews alumni. So this will be my third regatta, but it's the second one. The Masters is Nationals is just such a big event, and you get to see a lot of people that are not at all the other regattas. It's just a lot of fun to run into the people you know, and so we try to go to all of them. I am sympathetic to the people on the West Coast that would like to see more Western venues, but
well, it's slowly picking up. I've been noticing more and more of the championships beginning to get spread out and shared from coast to coast, and I know U.S. Rowing's making those efforts to try to balance the travel because it is hard. I mean, I know how hard West Coast crews have when they come east, and and really, I know in my travels going west to east or east to west, that east to west is a little bit easier than west to east when it comes to trying to shift your days around.
The San Diego trailer, if they drive straight through with no stops, no overnight, it's 2+ days.
Yep, long drive. On the water right now, the men's Open 4 final in the B category with Texas Center in lane 1, Riverfront Recapture in lane 2, St. Louis in lane 3, DC Strokes in lane 4, Genesee in lane 5, and Potomac Composite in lane 6. And there is a real fight going on right here. A slight advantage right now, it looks like, to that Potomac boat. The Potomac boats have really been flying down the course all day today. St. Louis, though, with a good showing right now as well. All these boats pretty close in touch.
Wow.
St. Louis and the Potomac Composite battling it out as they head towards the finish. Riverfront Recapture in third right now, trying to hold on, while DC Strokes is beginning to sneak up on the inside. A big push. Wow. Potomac Composite digging in deep at the end, and they win by a half a boat length over the boat from St. Louis. Then it's Riverfront Recapture, followed by the DC Strokes boat. The Texas Center will be coming in 5th. And that leaves Genesee in lane 5, crossing 6th in the men's Open 4 final in the B category here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. What a push from Potomac there at the end. It's amazing that some of these rowers have that much left in here on their second row today already.
Yeah, that was quite a thing to see.
You're watching finals of the Masters National Championship from Oak Ridge, Tennessee on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel. On the water, another championship final. 2 boats in this race, Austin Composite in lane 3 and Lincoln Park in lane 4. Lincoln Park in lane 4 with a boat length lead through the first 350 meters in the women's lightweight 4's A-class final. So what kind of strategies do the brothers have? Is there, do you have a particular regatta or race strategy that you practice on a regular basis?
It's interesting. There's a huge difference for us between 1,000 meters, where we frankly have not been quite as good. There was a time in head races where we were really dominant, and I think it's we all have good cardiovascular endurance that helps. But we also row a head race in a sort of a unique negative splits way. We deliberately go just cruise very nicely through the first half, and then
Yeah.
we really ratchet it up, and it leaves us with plenty of speed at the end. Many crews in head races make the mistake of going way too fast at the beginning.
All that adrenaline, you got to suppress that, keep it from going as you're racing
exactly.
through. Especially with the starters there in the head races going, come on, go, 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 come on, go, 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 go.
Whereas by contrast, this is really a hurry, scurry, flurry event to me. It's you do your racing start, you settle for 5 strokes, and then you sprint. That's the way it feels like.
That's right. But really, the benefits of rowing for especially the older crowd, if you may, low impact, great for your cardiovascular. Every major muscle group is used. Just unbelievable what a workout you get, and what an environment to get a great workout. What a beautiful shot right here. Just watched an osprey
take a fish. Yeah.
Here just off the shore in front of the beer tent.
That's a good omen for somebody. I don't know who, but
wow. So here comes the women's lightweight fours in the A category final. Lincoln Park, leading from early in the race, continues to lean into their oars in the final 50 meters, being pursued by a boat, Austin Composite boat, in lane 3. So the women's lightweight fours in the A category, it's Lincoln Park winning the gold. And an Austin Composite boat coming in second.
When you talk about fitness, not to mention myself, but just as an example of what can happen, if you have a lifetime of rowing, my resting pulse, if you took it right now, would be in the 30s. And that's pretty low. I once went for an annual physical, which I do every 5 years or so, and the nurse literally ran for the doctor, and this is the middle of the day, saying, come quick, he's dying. And my ears perked up. I thought, she's talking about me, because my pulse that day, walking around was 31, and she had never seen that before.
Wow. I'm talking with George Schuster, who, along with his brother Deal, here in the tent at the finish line at the Masters National Championships in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, talking about the great benefits of rowing and how much fun it is to be out there on the water and see things like an osprey take a fish right behind your boat. On the water right now is the men's lightweight 4 final for the A to C category. So 3 races here. Texas Center in lane 2 racing in the C category by themselves. Wyandotte and Riverfront Recapture in the middle are the ones who will be racing for the B gold. And in category A, it's Lincoln Park in lane 5. They are the ones, 3 different gold medals will be handed out in this men's lightweight A to C 4 final. So Riverfront Recapture and Wyandotte are the 2 who are battling it out in the front, and it is the boat from let me see. Trying to pick them all out here. Lincoln Park is the one leading the race. In the meantime, Texas Center in second right now. They're both running individual races. Lincoln Park in the A category and Texas Center in the C category. And the C category trying to beat that A category, the youngers, if you may, as they come down 30 meters from the finish. They're looking good. Both of them beginning to sprint. They want the bragging rights as they come down the course. Here comes the race. And at the finish line, Texas Center holding on to win the race overall, but to win their category. Lincoln Park winning the A category, and it's Riverfront Recapture with the gold in the B category over Wyandotte at the line.
I've noticed Riverfront Recapture is putting together some good crews. A lot of credit to them. We raced them in Delaware. They've got some fast boats.
They have always been towards the front. Riverfront Recapture all regatta long in the finals that we've seen so far. So
yeah, I think it's a relatively new club too.
Just very, very young and doing some great work there in Hartford and East Hartford to help and recover what was They've been doing that in many different places. Up in Cincinnati, which I'm very familiar with, they used to have a public landing and really no access from downtown to the riverfront. Now they're building some beautiful parks, and rowers really enjoy coming down through there. And a lot of great work going on through the sport of rowing, whether it's the rowers keeping the rivers and lakes clean of trash, being involved, being out in that environment and loving it. So.
Yeah. When we speak of seeing sights, I can remember racing in the Marine Stadium in Miami at the Nationals, and the dolphins would swim by. And you know how rowers like to beat everything that they see. Let's go beat the dolphin. That was a hopeless case. But later today, we're rowing in a mixed. Neil and I are rowing in a mixed F4, and one of the ladies in the boat, Nancy Young, races alligators from time to time because she's from Augusta.
Oh, races alligators or out races?
Out races because she's still here.
I'm talking with George and Neil Schuster, two of four brothers who row together, along with Ken and Chris. They do a fine job and have for many, many years, showing the lifelong commitment to rowing. Very easy to do when you fall in love with this sport. The women's lightweight fours in the E category on the water right now. The Masters Coaching Composite in lane 1, CRI in lane 2, Greenwich in lane 3, Chinook in lane 4, Carnegie Lake in lane 5, and Saugatuck in lane 6. Chinook with an early lead right now. The Greenwich and CRI boat trying to keep pace with them through the 500-meter mark. So I was talking to a U.S. rowing referee yesterday, John Wild, and he was talking about the trash talking at the line. So the Schuster brothers do any trash talking at the start?
In the 8 yesterday, we were against Palm Beach, and Duncan Spencer, who went to Yale also, I've known him over the years, he was rowing bow, and I yelled over to him, I said, Duncan, show me your back. But they called that trash talk. I thought that was just a normal thing to say.
Yes. Oh, so in the women's lightweight 4 underway right now at the halfway point, it is Chinook with an early lead. Saugatuck hanging with them, though, and Saugatuck beginning to pick up the pace, I see, at that halfway mark. Looks like Carnegie Lake might be in third right now, battling with Greenwich and CRI. The Masters coaching composite in there, too.
Actually, though, in Masters rowing, the trash talk is very friendly. There's not a more friendly bunch of people. And any number of times we've had problems like finding a coxswain, or we need a piece of equipment. Everybody helps everybody else out. It's really a great community. So in other words, I don't know of any really vicious or anything like that. Malicious trash talk. It's all good fun, what little takes place.
I think they leave it there for the singles to do all that.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Or perhaps the pairs, too. Who knows?
All right.
Looks like Saugatuck battling it out with Chinook in the women's lightweight 4s. These are F through G, the E category. We'll have the women's lightweight 4s F through J in a moment. But Chinook and Saugatuck out in front of the field. CRI in third with Carnegie Lake trying to battle for that position as well as the boat from Greenwich. But Chinook looking cool and confident as they stroke towards the finish and the gold medal here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. CRI beginning to pour it on, trying to catch up with the boat from Saugatuck, but out front with the gold medal, it is Chinook crossing the line first in the women's lightweight 4s in the E category. Saugatuck, seeing that move from CRI, begins to pour it on. They will get the silver. CRI will have to settle for bronze. In the meantime, coming up fast, it's a Carnegie Lake boat trying to catch up with Greenwich, but Greenwich crosses first. And then here at the end, the Masters Coaching Composite C boat, 6th place in the women's lightweight 4s, final in the E category. This is live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships at Melton Lake in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Here at the finish line tent, watching the finals and the second day of finals. Finals every day, the Masters Nationals. Now you'll see on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel every afternoon, beginning about 1:30. We've been having fog delays, so instead of 1:30, we went on at 2:30 today, and so that was the delay. But right now, the lightweight fours for the women in categories F through J. And actually there are three races here. The Vesper Composite B in lane 1 racing for the category H gold. Masters Coaching Composite B and Vesper Composite in lanes 2 and 3 respectively racing for the G category gold. And then in the F category gold, Rocket City in lane 4, Masters Coaching in lane 5, and Avalon in lane 6 for the women's lightweight F through J 4 final. Masters Coaching out in the lead in that race for the F category, with Rocket City in second and Avalon in third. In the meantime, in the G category, in that battle there in lanes 2 and 3, Vesper Composite Crew has a slight advantage. Well, beyond the view out there, the fitness that you go through, George, what else do you find attractive about the sport of rowing?
Well, I'd like to mention again, it's great to see people that you know and over the years. I'm glad to see. There's an example later today. I guess it's tomorrow. I'll be racing against the guy that I haven't seen since I rowed it in the Harvard race in 1967. He was in the boat with me.
Wow!
I haven't even seen him since, and he'll be here. We're looking forward to getting together tomorrow, actually off the water and on the water, both. So that's happening more and more. People who once rowed, when they get older and have the time and so forth, get back into it.
Watching the women's lightweight fours, finals for 3 categories, G, F, and H, on the water right now. The F race in lanes 4, 5, and 6. Right now being led by the Masters Coaching boat. Avalon behind them and Rocket City right beside them. Rocket City riding up on the boat from Masters Coaching, trying to catch up, but they're running out of water. Half a boat length lead for the Masters Coaching boat, and at the finish, winning the gold in the F category in the women's lightweight fours. It's the Masters Coaching in lane 5, followed by Rocket City. In the meantime, Vesper Composite winning in the G category over the Masters Coaching Composite B, comes in second. Crossing the line right now, Avalon third in the F category. And racing themselves in the Vesper Composite B in lane 1 and winning the gold in the category H boat, the Vesper Composite B at the finish. Well, George, it's been a pleasure spending some time with you, and I know you got to go get your head back in the game, but thank you, George. Thank you, Neil, for being here.
We're looking forward to listening to you announce our race later today.
Well, maybe I'll be able to say there go the Schusters. Thank you very much for being here. George and Neil Schuster, part of 2 of 4 brothers who row together. Ken and Chris, their other 2 brothers, they always row a 4. Racing here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters Nationals Championships in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Good to have them along. Big boats lining up right now. Only 2 in this D category final for the men's Club 8. Potomac in lane 3 and Western Reserve in lane 4. Great to have the Schusters here. We'll have other guests showing up. Yesterday during the live stream, we had a chance to speak with the new CEO of U.S. Rowing, Patrick McNerney. He had some great things to say, and if you missed that, you can go back and watch that coverage here on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel. Just look for the Thursday afternoon finals broadcast, and you will be able to hear what Patrick had to say about his vision for the future of U.S. rowing, both at the high performance level and down on the club level as well. Here they go, the men's club 8 in the D category underway. The D category, 50 to 54. Again, Potomac in the red in lane 3, Western Reserve with the green unis with the white stripe slash across the back in lane 4. The Western Reserve Rowing Association based in Cleveland, Ohio. And rowing actually started in Cleveland on the Cuyahoga River as far back as 1855. They held the first of the Cleveland Sprints in 1989 when they changed their name from the Ivanhoe Boat Club to the Western Reserve Rowing Association. Held the first of the Cleveland Sprints regattas inside the breakwall on Lake Erie there in Cleveland, Ohio. Right now, racing Potomac down the course in the men's club 8s in the D category. Right now, Potomac with about a 5-seat lead as they're 400 meters in. Western Reserve, though, has really got that boat a-swinging, and they are making it move down the course at the halfway point, just a few seats back of the bow of the Potomac boat. Potomac going with slow and steady, while Western Reserve has really got a high stroke rate kicking it down the course. We do have an announcement from U.S. Rowing. The awards tent is now open. You can find it near the finish line and video tent. Just come pick up your medals from yesterday's and today's events, but please only send one representative from your team to pick up medals. They'll be open until 6:45. Congratulations to all the athletes at the Masters National Championship from everyone at U.S. Rowing. The Club 8's coming down. Potomac had been leading from the start, but Western Reserve has been right there with them the whole way as they're coming down to the finish. 100 meters to go for the gold in the men's Club 8's D category. Coming down to the line, Potomac still with the advantage over Western Reserve. Let's see if they can pull it out at the finish here in the men's Club 8's D category final. Potomac wins the gold by 7 seats, just ahead of Western Reserve. Just underway and 30 meters into this 1,000-meter race is the men's lightweight single final for the G category, the G being 65 to 69 years old. Kevin Conroy from Minneapolis in lane 1, John Oliver from Carnegie Lake in lane 2, Bernie Bergener from Atlanta in lane 3, John Saxelby from Cambridge in lane 4, Don Davis from the Gainesville area in lane 5, Don Hunt from Berkeley in lane 6, and Tom Dreyer from Cincinnati in lane 7 in the men's lightweight single final in the G category. And these gentlemen are bow ball to bow ball early in the race in the men's lightweight singles. Lightweight rowers here, again for the Masters National. The weight limit set at 160 pounds, so all these rowers 160 pounds or less, having to go through the weigh-in process for the competition. A picture of John Saxelby, if you're watching the live stream from Cambridge. In lane 4, leading Joe Oliver from Carnegie Lake. Don Hunt from Berkeley hot on his trail, but Kevin Conroy from Minneapolis in lane 1 out early, with John Saxelby from Cambridge in lane 4 in second right now, and Don Hunt from Berkeley in lane 6 in third. I haven't seen the Cincinnati or Carnegie Lake boats to really get a good perspective on how they're shaping up in this race. The men's lightweight singles. Kevin Conroy from Minneapolis continuing to lead the men's lightweight singles. John Saxelby from Cambridge. Don Hunt from Berkeley trying to catch up with those two in third right now. Kevin Conroy out to a fast start, but John Saxelby is now caught up with him. And here as they come to the finish line in the men's lightweight singles final in the G category, John Saxelby with just 15 meters to go to the finish and the gold medal in the men's lightweight singles. John Saxelby from Cambridge winning the gold. Kevin Conroy from Minneapolis, leader for most of the race, will get silver. Then Don Hunt from Berkeley with the bronze. Here comes Joe Oliver from Carnegie Lake for fourth place. Fifth belongs to Don Davis from the Gainesville area, and that leaves Bernie Bergener from Atlanta in lane 3 in sixth. The sculling continues here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship with the Women's Club Quad. The E category final. Three Rivers is in lane 1. Baltimore in lane 2. Rio Salada in lane 3. Atomic in lane 4. Texas Center C in lane 5. And Cincinnati in lane 6. It's the Women's Club Quad final for the E category here at the Masters Nationals. Start underway. We're watching the easy swing. Watching the easy swing of the boat from Baltimore in lane 2. Rio Salado right next to him. Atomic, home team in those bright pink unis, right now looking as if they are in the front of the crowd in this race for the Women's Club Quads. So Atomic, the hometown crew, in the lead right now. See the boat from Cincinnati in third, fighting with the Texas Center C boat. Baltimore and Atomic out in front, pursuing that Atomic boat. Last of the yellow buoys disappearing behind the boats as they enter the red buoys, indicating 250 meters, a quarter of the race to go. Atomic continuing to lead, Baltimore continuing to pursue, with Rio Salado in between those two. Cincinnati and Texas Center on the outside, battling with Rio Salado. See if Baltimore has any tricks up their sleeve to catch up with the hometown Atomic crowd here. Atomic beginning to lean in, picking up their pace, beginning their sprint. 100 meters to go or less. Baltimore seeing that, they begin their sprint as well here in the Women's Club Quads. Final for the E category. Atomic having led for most of the race, continuing to try to move forward. Here they go. They are continuing their sprint, and they are pulling ahead of Baltimore. And indeed, at the finish, it's by 4 seats that Atomic takes the gold medal over Baltimore. In the meantime, here's Cincinnati zooming up on the boat from Rio Salado, but Rio Salado will get the bronze. Cincinnati in 4th. That's Texas Center C in 5th. And Three Rivers in 6th in the Women's Club Quad Final. More quads to come. That was the E final for the Women's Club Quads. Now to the F through J final. 2 races in 1 race here. In lanes 2 and 3, racing for the gold in the G category for the Women's Club Quads. Vesper in lane 2 and Texas Center in lane 3. For the F category gold, it's Three Rivers in lane 4, Sarasota in lane 5, and Saugatuck in lane 6. Racing for the gold in the F category. So the F category 60 to 64 and the G category 65 to 69. As they come by the first camera on the course. It's the boat from Sarasota in lane 5, leading the pack down the water. They have an open water lead over Saugatuck in lane 6. Probably about 5 meters of open water. Sarasota leading Saugatuck. Three Rivers not far behind Saugatuck in that race for the F category gold. Looks like Texas Center has the advantage in the G category race, happening on the far side in lanes 2 and 3. Vesper ran into some type of trouble. They were way out of their lane and just now getting back in their lane as Texas went by. I think Vesper may have been outside or out front and then run into some type of problem. I didn't have a chance to see it from the camera shot that we had, or the camera angle we had at the time. But Sarasota continuing to ply the waters forward in first in the F category, and Texas Center now in the lead in the G category. Sarasota putting on a clinic here in the championship final for the F category women's club quad. Sarasota out in front, open water lead over the whole rest of the pack. Second to Saugatuck right now in that race for F, with the Three Rivers boat in third. In the meantime, Texas Center taking advantage of a bobble from Vesper, and they are leading in the G category. But out in front and looking sweet in their swing, here comes the boat from Sarasota to win the gold here at the Masters National Championship in the women's club quad. Look at that lead. Almost 50 meters worth of lead for the Sarasota Scullers as they went over the line. Here comes the Texas Center boat in lane 3 to win the G category. Second in that F category goes to Saugatuck. There comes third, the Three Rivers boat crossing the line right now. And Vesper in lane 2, rounding out the pack in the F and G's categories of the women's club quads here at the Masters National. Oh, a little bit of a crab from Vesper right within sight of the finish line. Slows the boat as it crosses. From the women's quads to the men's quads, the men's open quads E category final, active right now and roaring down the course here in Melton Lake. It's Texas Center in lane 1, Palm Beach Composite in lane 2, Baltimore Composite in lane 3, Maine Association Composite in lane 4, Chinook in lane 5, and Virginia Composite in lane 6. And if I count my lanes correctly, it does look like it might be the Chinook boat that's out in the lead right now, closely pursued by the Palm Beach Composite and the Baltimore Composite. Actually, it's the Maine Association Composite that's out in the lead right now. I can pick out their unis, and boy, they are beginning to kick it up, and they enter those red buoys. They see that competition moving up on them, and here they come down to the line in the men's open quad final in the E category. The Maine Association Composite out in front, open water between their stern and the next boat in the line, that boat from Palm Beach. But coming up fast on the outside, it's the Virginia Composite. Zooming up and past, as a matter of fact, the Baltimore Composite, and crossing the line right there. The Maine Association Composite in first. Hard to call between the Virginia Composite and the Baltimore Composite. Then it was the Palm Beach Composite, and here comes the Texas Center boat in the men's open quad final. What a finish. The Maine Association Composite fending off a fast-moving Virginia Composite team right at the finish. And what a battle it was at the end. You're watching live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. Women's Club 4's final on the water right now in the C category. Three Rivers in lane 1, Ann Arbor in lane 2, Alexandria in lane 3, Greenwich in lane 4, Asheville in lane 5, Northern Virginia in lane 6. This is the Women's Club 4 final in the C category. They're still doing alignment for the Women's Club 4's final in the C category. I believe the breezes might be making it a little touchy for both the stake boat holders and the referees up at the start, backing in. Still waiting for them to pull the field up near the start. Again, a reminder, an announcement from US Rowing that the awards tent is now open, located near the finish line and video tent, just beyond the beer garden. You know where the beer garden is, don't you? Come pick up your medals from yesterday's and today's events at the awards tent, located near the finish line. Please only send one representative from your team to pick up medals. They'll be open till 6:45. US Rowing wants to congratulate all the athletes competing here at the 2017 US Rowing Masters Nationals. Well, while we have a pause in the action, it gives me great pleasure to welcome another guest here to the finish line tent. Joining me is a former US Rowing employee, now a police officer, Allison Pellini. Allison, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So you worked for U.S. Rowing and now in law enforcement. How did that transition go?
That's a tricky question. I'm not really sure exactly how that happened, but I still do rowing things. Rowing is still a big part, but I wanted a hands-on job like U.S. Rowing offered. So maintain a U.S. Rowing kind of feel with the teamwork and the team atmosphere, which is what I get being on a squad and being with my other fellow police officers. But it's slightly different work. I'm sure that's pretty obvious.
No less difficult either.
Yes, actually, I was a membership manager, so I got to practice my compliance policing before I got to regular law enforcement. I think the compliance part was harder, chasing people down. So got good practice.
Where's your waiver? Where's your waiver?
Yeah, where's your bracelet?
So, what was your introduction to rowing? How'd you get into it, Allison?
Got introduced in college. I went to the University of Alabama when it was still club.
Roll Tide.
Row Tide, actually.
Row Tide.
It was still a club sport then, so I rowed from 2002 to 2005. I started as a coxswain because rowing was scary, so I coxed. But then I realized it wasn't that scary, so I tried rowing instead. I got stuck in the bow of an 8 on 3-seat, and then I crabbed my whole way down, so I decided I would row port for the rest of my life. So that's how I row port. True story. But yeah, it found me in college, and I stuck with it ever since.
Speaking with Allison Pellini as we watch the next championship final coming down the course, the Women's Club 4 final in the C category. The lineup: 3 Rivers in lane 1, Ann Arbor in lane 2, Alexandria in lane 3, Greenwich in lane 4, Asheville in lane 5, Northern Virginia in lane 6. And it appears that Greenwich is out quick out of the starting block and in the lead through the first 250 meters. So, okay, you had some mishaps early on, Allison, but you obviously fell in love with the sport. What and when did that transition happen? What captured your imagination and your passion for rowing?
Shortly after I started on the team, I watched the varsity members do some sort of, probably a 2K, for all I know, I don't remember, but something erg related, and I was completely captured by the intensity and just the Model Bs at the time, so very loud, very worry and air everywhere. It was awesome. So ever since then, I was captured, and then couldn't unhook me after that. Tattooed on my shoulder, U.S. Rowing, everything rowing. I had the port and starboard socks. Who didn't? Crew, butt short. It's like I was totally that college girl. That was cool when I was 17, 18.
And still is, leaving a lasting impression, right?
Yeah.
Greenwich at the halfway point, leading in the Women's Club 4s by about a boat length. Asheville right there with them, and it looks like it's Alexandria working hard in lane 3 right beside him and trying to keep up as they continue down the course in the Women's Club 4s. So, talking port and starboard, sweeping primarily?
Yes, all sweep through college. I dabbled in a little sculling. We had some sort of bathtub of a single that I got to row and practice in. got to play with that a little bit, and then it really wasn't until Masters era of rowing that I kind of just hopped in a quad one day and raced my first quad at Masters Nationals. And then I make
Really?
I make my debut sculling once a year at Masters Nationals in a quad. So I already did that. That was yesterday. I did my sculling for the year. I'm done. I'll fill that quota next year when it comes along. So, whatever. It works.
So you're in uni now.
I'm in my uni now. I raced, what were we racing? The Open C4 earlier today. Back to sweep. Unfortunately, didn't make it out of the heats. We were close. We were third, but not quite enough juice. It's all right. I got some races tomorrow.
You got to save a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Greenwich continuing to lead here in the women's club fours in the C category final. They took over the lead quickly in the first 200 meters or so, and they're continuing to move ahead. In the meantime, Asheville, that was right there with them, has fallen back slightly, and Alexandria is maintaining their pace with them. Coming up fast in lane 6, Northern Virginia beginning to pour it on, and they're beginning to catch up with the boat from Alexandria. But here at the finish line, winning gold in the women's club fours, it's Greenwich crossing the line first in the C category. Here comes Alexandria trying to hold on, and indeed they do for the silver. And they're moving past Asheville. Northern Virginia for the bronze. Then it's Asheville and Ann Arbor crossing the line in that order. And finally, here comes Three Rivers rounding out the field in the women's club fours C category championship final. So any favorite races, favorite regattas that you like? Masters National, they move around a little bit, so obviously you've seen some venues, but any particular, whether you're row tied or not?
Sure. Well, favorite would actually be Sierra, which is right here on this Mountain Lake course all through college. Sierra was our sort of championship regatta, Southeastern. But then, of course, as I made it through Masters, Diamond States is a good one. That's right before this. It gets us pumped up. And, of course, we have our own regatta, Carnegie League Regatta. Can't miss that one. So, got some good regattas to go to in the summer for sure.
And I just had George and Neil Schuster, who are two of four brothers who row together. And, just talk about the camaraderie of rowers. And I imagine you've run across that, too.
Definitely. I think I talked about it, too. One of the reasons I like law enforcement so much was the camaraderie. And it was the same thing here. It's a team aspect that you couldn't pay me to get up at 4 a.m. to go for a run by myself. I sure as hell will be here for rowing. So, I definitely need that team sport to push me, or else I'm not doing it.
We watched the women's club fours in the C category. We've got the men's club fours right now, and they are lined up across the course in 5 of the 6 boats in the race at the halfway point. Detroit in lane 1, Texas Center lane 2, Potomac in lane 3, Chicago in lane 4, San Diego in lane 5, and Nashville in lane 6. And 1 through 5 lanes, Detroit, Texas Center, Potomac, Chicago, San Diego, all within about 3 seats of each other at the halfway point. Nashville just slightly off the pace as they come down, but I would give the advantage to San Diego at least at that halfway point. But this is anybody's race to win or lose in the men's club 4 final in the CH category, the 43 to 49-year-old range. We'll see how they shape up as they come down, but they are clustered together. San Diego, the only one with a slight advantage right now as they're pushing forward. We'll have to see how the fight goes for the medals here, because I can tell you what, it is going to be tight. San Diego, Potomac, Texas Center, all out in the front, 1, 2, 3 right now, but still in touch. It's the boats from Detroit and Chicago. But going for the gold at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships in the men's club 4 final for the C category. Coming to the line. Look at that. There goes San Diego for the gold. Too close to call there between Potomac and Texas Center. Here comes Detroit and looked like Chicago, almost dead even as well. And here comes Nashville, 6th place in the men's club 4 final in the C category. So I'm speaking with Allison Polini, formerly of U.S. Rowing, membership manager, now police officer. Thank you for that work, Allison, I
absolutely.
must say. And you mentioned the camaraderie, and I understand someone told me that you are using rowing, primarily erging, to stay in shape for your law enforcement work.
Yes, actually, a lot of the guys I work with also train in CrossFit, and so as you know, the erg has become a big CrossFit tool. So we actually have an erg at the station, which is very convenient for
Really?
me.
Wow.
Because there's a tiny weight room, and in it is an erg. So I almost don't even need the erg at my house since I primarily live at the station now. And yeah, I've got that useful, you know. And I coach off season from summer rowing. So when I'm not rowing with the team, I'm erging on my own, trying to keep up, making sure I'm ready for the Charles or whatever it is that I can hop back into for sure.
We are watching a competition right now, the Women's Open Double AA final. It's Vesper in lane 2, Greater Houston in lane 3, Riverfront Recapture in lane 4, and Austin in lane 5. It's Vesper with the advantage of open water at the halfway point, with second place belonging to Greater Houston, but Riverfront Recapture right there with them, about 2 boat lengths back to the double from Austin in lane 5. So if you were trying to persuade a friend or neighbor or someone that you knew might benefit from the sport of rowing, what would you say, Allison, to try to persuade somebody to try out a little bit of sculling or sweeping?
That's a hard one because it's easy and it's hard, actually, because one of those things that I'm super passionate about. So anyone that hangs out with me understands how passionate I am. Sometimes I scare them away a little bit, perhaps. They're like, oh my God, is this what I got to look forward to? You know, are all rowers like this? Unfortunately, yes. So, you know, but it really, you know, if someone's looking to just try it out, I say come down and try it out. You know, it doesn't have to be early mornings, even though that's when most clubs do practice. Come on to double with me. I'll see, you know, show you what it's about. Get in the erg, I'll show you what it's about. Usually people are willing to give it at least a shot. And because I coach college rowing as well, a lot of my students will do the recruiting for me, and I'll come down there with my extremely excitable personality and hopefully hook them. I don't know.
Sharing that passion, that's what happens. A lot of passion happening on the course right now in the Women's Open Double AA final, with Vesper well out ahead of the rest of the pack. And it does look in this 4-boat race like Vesper, it's their race to win or lose. In the meantime, the battle for second place continues. Riverfront Recapture had been hanging right there with Greater Houston, and they are both battling it out in the final 100 meters of the race. Austin well off the pace, though, several boat lengths back. At the line, though, here comes Vesper, winning the Women's Open Double final in the AA category. It's Riverfront Recapture with a big sprint at the end, and they pull ahead of the boat from Greater Houston. They will get the second place, Greater Houston third, and that leaves Austin for the fourth place finish in the Women's Open Double AA category final. So, an erg at the station. I find that very interesting. I mean, you know, there's a lot of different exercise equipment that could be in any weight room, and to have an erg there. I mean, were you, Allison, the one who brought that about, or was it there?
I wish I could say I was. No, it was there before me. Actually, another guy on the squad was a rower. He rowed at Clemson, probably 5-10 years before I rowed at Alabama. He's got a couple years on me, but no, he was a Clemson rower, so he brought the erg with him. And so that's been at the station ever since. I just get the benefit from the erg being at the station. And, you know, usually I take it outside. People look at me like I'm green. They want to ask all kinds of questions about why I'm outside, erging, what's going on. Stop me in mid-workout to ask me questions. But, you know, they don't know.
What it does. Well, and what do others at the station think of the erg?
Most of them just try to hop on the piece, do either a 1K or a 2K as fast as they can, set the damper to 10 and go.
Yeah.
But they're not too interested in hearing what I have to say about it. You know, try to give a little education. They just want to go at 39 strokes a minute at damper set at 10 and do their thing. So, all right, whatever. I'll let them do their thing. Then I get on and I'll sort myself out a little bit later.
Oh, as the competition continues, I'm speaking with Allison Polini, a former USRowing employee and now a police officer. Still in love with rowing, as most of us are. Once you give it a try, it's hard to get away. The men's open eights in the A category on the water right now. Racing for the gold, Greenwich Crew in lane 1, Riverfront Recapture in lane 2, Chicago in lane 3, DC Strokes in lane 4, and Lincoln Park in lane 5. And early on, it looks like advantage to that Riverfront recapture boat. George Schuster had mentioned earlier that Riverfront recapture was always fielding some really fine boats, and they're doing so right now as well. DC Strokes right there with them, just about a half a boat length back. Or excuse me, that's Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park right behind Riverfront recapture. And the Chicago looks like holding on to third place right now. Then Greenwich Crew and the Chicago boat. So can you compare and contrast collegiate rowing versus masters rowing? I mean, did you feel there was a big difference? I mean, yeah, well, okay, so shy of a 1,000-meter race versus 2, but beyond that.
Obviously, like you said, the strategy is a little different for a 2K versus a 1K. But I think you can even look across the board, even to the Olympics. Rowing finds people at later ages than I'd say other sports. So the longer I've rowed, the more I've just refined all of my skills, and everything's become better as I've gotten older. I'm faster than I was when I was in college. I'm fitter than I was in college. I don't know if that's true for everybody. It is for me. I just keep baby steps forward.
Look at Riverfront recapture. Steaming down the course. Trying to stay ahead of the boat from Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park on the move, though, but here with just a few meters to go to the finish line. I don't know if they have enough water to make it happen. And as they come to the line in the men's Open 8 final in the A category, Riverfront recapture with the gold. It's Lincoln Park with the silver. Chicago with the bronze. Then comes Greenwich and the DC Strokes boat. In that order, in the men's Open 8 final in the A category. So you're saying you're getting better with age?
Something like that. At least I think I am. It's probably a lie, but it feels like I am. I feel faster. It's all about feel, right? It's nothing about the erg score or anything. It's just about how I feel. No, yeah, I definitely feel like as I row longer, more, different experience, different coaches, different boats, different styles, things change, especially as I'm coaching longer. It's been about 12 years now. So, all these things play into getting better, I think. That's the hope, anyway. That's my delusion, at least.
Well, any fun rowing stories? Any fun ones you can pull off any ones that you can share with the live stream audience, I guess I should say,
man.
carefully.
Yeah, carefully. Actually...
and this will be, archived for perpetuity, too.
Sure thing. Last year, Masters Nationals actually was a very memorable for myself, for my teammates. No particular reason other than they were very tough heats, and we were in boats that we just, we made it happen. Squeaked out into the finals here and there when we didn't think it was possible. So nothing outstanding, but it was just a very memorable time to... When you think you can't, but you go out there anyway, and you actually pull it out. It's an awesome feeling.
I remember asking a particular rower, I'm drawing a blank on exactly who it was that told me. I asked her what her favorite regatta was, and her answer was the one I'm in right now.
Oh, there you go. See?
So,
Perfect.
Can't beat that. Well, we saw the men's Club 8s coming down in the A category. Now we have the women's Club 8s in the B category. It's a capital B boat in lane 1, Chicago in lane 2, CRI in lane 3, a capital A boat in lane 4, St. Louis in lane 5, and Austin in lane 6. And right now, Chicago, CRI, capital of St. Louis stretched out across the race course and going back and forth from stroke to stroke. The Chicago, CRI, and capital boats kind of leading the pack at the time, but St. Louis right in there with the mix. Hard to call who's out front. With any given stroke, it's either St. Louis or CRI. But Chicago and Capital right there with them. In the meantime, Austin right behind that pack with the Capital B boat in lane 1, sticking to the sterns of the lead pack as well. The women's Club 8 final in the B category here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. Beautiful afternoon here in Tennessee, in Oak Ridge on Melton Hill Lake. Watching it come down in 89-degree weather. little bit of a breeze blowing that's really helping keep spectators and rowers coming off the water a little bit cooler. So that's kind of a nice compared to the thick, hot, and juicy day we had yesterday. Women's Club 8s, B category. 5 boats across earlier on. They're beginning to spread out slightly. CRI, Chicago, Capital, St. Louis. A lot of red and black out there right now. St. Louis looking fine. Capital not far behind. CRI right there with them too. Chicago not to be discounted. The strategy begins to play out in the final 80 meters of this 1,000-meter race. CRI beginning to lean into it, beginning to pull out. St. Louis trying to keep up with them. Capital beginning to try to sprint with those 2 boats. But, boy, it's going to be tight between CRI and St. Louis, at least at this point, unless somebody makes a bobble. Chicago sticking right with that lead crowd. It's going to be hard to call. I don't envy the U.S. rowing referees on the finish line because this will be tight. But at the line, it looks like CRI has pulled it out with St. Louis in second. Third, I won't even try to call between Capital and Chicago. We'll let the referees sort that one out. Here comes Austin for the 5th place finish, and Capital B in 6th in the Women's Club 8's B category final. Wow, what a race at the end, and what a sight to see all those big boats crossing the line at the same time. Well, Allison, thank you very much for being here. I know you have better and funner places to be, but I appreciate you spending some time talking with us this afternoon.
I appreciate the interview. It was good to see you both. Willie, thank you as well. Mark, thank you as well.
Allison Pellini, formerly of U.S. Rowing, now a police officer, talking about the sport of rowing and her passion for the sport of rowing. If you'd like to learn more about rowing, just visit usrowing.org. Thank you. Keep cool there, Allison. And the championship finals keep flying down the course. This is the men's open quad final in the B category. Wyandotte in lane 3, Texas Center lane 4, Cincinnati B in lane 5. Texas Center out in front by 3/4 of a boat length as they approach the halfway mark. Texas Center looking very strong in their stroke. As they move on down, they have now a boat length lead over Wyandotte. The Cincinnati B boat is about a boat length, 2 boat lengths behind the second place Wyandotte boat right now. But red, white, and blue and those stars of Texas Center roaring down the course here in the men's open quad B final for the B category. Final 300 meters. Beginning to feel it after heats this morning for some of these rowers, other races that they've been involved in. Texas looking very cool and confident heading into the final stretch. Here they begin their sprint, picking up the pace. Actually pulling away a little bit from Wyandotte. Wyandotte, sensing that, they begin to dig in too. But at the finish, winning the gold in the men's open quad final in the B category, Texas Center in lane 4. Wyandotte crosses in second. And the Cincinnati B boat now crossing the line in third in the men's open quad final in the B category. This is live stream coverage of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship from Oak Ridge, Tennessee on a sunny and warm Tennessee afternoon. Amazing racing happening, some very close races spread throughout the day, and this second day of championship finals. Each day of the Masters Nationals, there are heats in the morning and then finals in the afternoon, so many events being contested, some 200 or more in all the age categories. Medals being handed out in each of the races. The Women's Open 4 without race at the starting blocks right now. This is the Open D through J. So there is a race for the D category, a race for the F category, and then E and G are single boats in this 6-boat race. I'm seeing something on the screen. It looks like someone's either late to the start or a little bit lost, as there are other boats in the starting docks, and there's a boat drifting around out in front of the starting docks. We'll have to see how that shapes up. The lineup here in the Women's Open 4 without race, the final for the D through J categories. Chinook in lane 1, Saugatuck in lane 2, CRI in lane 3. Those boats racing for the D category gold. In lane 4, it's Chinook B. They're racing against themselves in the E category. In lane 5, Avalon Composite, and in lane 6, Vesper Composite. They're racing for the F category. And in lane 7, it's the Vesper Composite B boat racing themselves in the G category. So 4 gold medals in this race, 4 gold medals to be awarded in this one race here at the Masters Nationals. Thanks again to Allison Pellini, formerly of U.S. Rowing, for stopping by and sharing her thoughts about rowing, and to the Schuster brothers, George and Neil, who along with Ken and Chris raced together in a 4. Great to have their stories, both their collegiate days and beyond. While we wait for the start of the Women's Open 4 without race, again, an announcement from U.S. Rowing that the awards tent is now open. Please only send one representative from your team to pick up medals. That cuts down on the confusion. The awards tent, located near the finish line and video tent. Come pick up your medals from yesterday's and today's events. They're open till 6:45. But again, please send only one representative to the awards tent to pick up your team's medals. You can see the boats wiggling back and forth in the starting blocks. Obviously, the breeze is making it a little bit fun for the alignment and keeping those boats steady. The alignment process continuing. Another boat moving across the course along with a referee launch. Not really sure what's going on there. Waiting for it to sort out there at the start. boat moving across the course and out of the way. And I can see from the shot of the start line, a line of ducks making their way across the course too, though I know they won't stop the race. I think they might be in a bit of a quandary here in a moment if this race gets underway anytime in the next moment or two. And they're off. The women's open 4 without. 4 without a coxswain here. All inside the boat and happening. Again, the lineup. Chinook in lane 1, Saugatuck in lane 2, CRI in lane 3. They're all battling for the gold medal in the D category of this race. Chinook B and Avalon Composite along Chinook B in lane 4 going for the E category. Avalon Composite, Vesper Composite in lanes 5 and 6 are racing for the F, and the Vesper Composite B in lane 7 is racing against itself for the G category. It does appear right now that the Avalon Composite B is not in this race. But I'm only an unofficial voice, so don't take my word for it. Fast start for the Chinook B boat in lane 4, out ahead of the pack right now. The Chinook boat in lane 1, out just as quickly. Saugatuck right there behind him. CRI right behind Saugatuck. Two Chinook boats leading the pack down the course here in the Women's Open 4 without race. Championship final. 4 gold medals coming out of this race at the halfway point. Chinook leading in the D category. Chinook B leading the race and winning in the E category. Then Vesper Composite and Vesper Composite B battling in lanes 6 and 7. 1 for the F, 1 for the G. The Chinook boats still ahead of the pack and leading in their individual categories. Inside 200 meters to the finish. The Women's Open 4 withouts. The Chinook B boat racing in the E category, racing itself but beating the rest of the pack to the finish line. In the meantime, their teammates in the Chinook boat in lane 1 in the D category, leading and winning the gold for the D category. Saugatuck in second, and CRI in third for that race. Vesper Composite coming across and crossing just before the CRI boat. That's the race for the F category, and here comes the Vesper Composite B boat in the G category, winning the gold in the Women's Open 4 without. Championship Friday afternoon here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships as the races come down the course every 4 minutes looking for a gold. It's the men's Club 4's final in the E category racing right now. St. Louis in lane 1, Greater Columbus in lane 2, Western Reserve in lane 3, New Haven in lane 4. The familiar green of Riverfront Recapture in lane 5. Capital in lane 6 and Potomac in lane 7 in the men's Club 4 final in the E category. And it looks like that green of Riverfront Recapture might be out in the front right now. Indeed, sprinting out of the start. Riverfront Recapture with an open water lead over the remainder of the field. New Haven, not far behind them, but an open water of, I don't know, maybe 15 meters before you get to the bow there. But Capital right there sticking to the stern of the boat from Riverfront Recapture. Then it would be New Haven, Western Reserve, Greater Columbus, St. Louis, and Potomac in that order. But Riverfront Recapture out fast in the first half. Riverfront Recapture's been at the front of many of these finals, or near the front at least. See if they can be the ones in the very front when they cross the finish line here in the men's Club 4 final. Entering the final stretch, the field begins to spread out. Riverfront Recapture still in the lead in the men's Club 4's E category final. Capital beginning to pour it on, though, trying to catch up, but they're running out of water. In the meantime, New Haven right there with the boat from Capital. And they're being pursued by Western Reserve. Here at the end, Capital beginning to crank it up, but I don't think they have enough time to catch up as Riverfront Recapture jumps out of their shoes at the finish line, wins the gold. In the men's Club 4's, it is Capital in second for the silver. New Haven hangs on for the bronze from a surging Western Reserve who comes in fourth. Then it's hard to call between Potomac and Greater Columbus. And St. Louis rounds out the field. The men's Club 4's E category final here at the Masters National Championships. Lightweight pairs for the ladies on the water already. The doubles for the ladies, lightweight doubles for the ladies. Greenwich in lane 1, Chinook in lane 2, Lincoln Park lane 3, Austin lane 4, Dallas Composite lane 5, and Texas Center in lane 6. The women's lightweight double final in the C category. The Dallas Composite boat looking very fine in lane 5, but they're battling with the Texas Center in lane 6. In the meantime, both Greenwich and Lincoln Park right there with them at the 500-meter mark in the women's lightweight double. So Dallas Composite, Texas Center battling out at the front. Lincoln Park not far behind. Last quarter of the race in the women's lightweight doubles C category final. It's been a battle between Dallas Composite and Texas Center most of the way down the course. Greenwich, Lincoln Park, trying to stick right there with them. Greenwich beginning to pour it on, trying to catch up with the boat from the Dallas Composite. Dallas Composite and Greenwich beginning to battle right at the finish line as they come down in the women's lightweight doubles. Oh, a big push from the Dallas Composite, and there at the finish, it is Dallas Composite over Greenwich. Third belongs to Lincoln Park, with fourth going to the Texas Center. Fifth to Chinook. And here comes the boat from Austin. Austin actually rowing down in this race. The D category boat racing in the seas. And crossing the line in sixth in the women's lightweight doubles. Live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. We have the men's lightweight H through J double final on the water right now. Lane 2, Hunt and Chaffron from Berkeley in the H category. Schumacher and Monty from Jacksonville Composite in lane 3 in the H category. Potomac in lane 4 in the I category, and Rocky Mountain in lane 5 for the J category. They're very much spread out right now. So it's the Jacksonville Composite leading the pack by a mile, and leading the boat from Berkeley. Jacksonville Composite in the H category here in the men's lightweight double final. These are ages 70 up to 80 plus. Average age in the Jacksonville Composite 70, as it is in Berkeley. So here comes the Jacksonville Composite to the line in the men's lightweight double final in the H category, winning the gold. Heading towards the line right now, racing in the I category, it's the boat from Potomac. winning the gold in the I category is Potomac in the men's lightweight doubles. And in the J category, a boat from Rocky Mountain. Average age of 80 in this boat. Is there in the final 100 meters of this 1,000-meter race in the men's lightweight doubles. There we go, Smith and Francis from Rocky Mountain winning the gold medal in the J category in the men's lightweight doubles. Already racing down the course next in this championship Friday afternoon. The women's lightweight singles in the F category. In lane 2, Ping Wang from Minneapolis. In lane 3, Cynthia Cole from Washington School. In lane 4, Dale Parenti from White Marsh. In lane 5, Linda Porter from Potomac. And in lane 6, Cinda Grobard from Chinook. It is Cynthia Cole from Washington School, way out in front at 500 meters. With Cinda Grobard from Chinook right behind her. And Linda Porter and Dale Parenti battling it out for third with advantage to Parenti right now. But they are side by side as they come down. Cinda Grobard from Chinook and Cynthia Cole from Washington School beginning to battle it out as they're coming down in the women's lightweight singles in the F category. Both out front. We'll see how they look as they come by and head towards the finish. Cynthia Cole in the red boat on the far side, leading since about the 300-meter mark. Cinda Grobard from Chinook. Then a wicked fight for third beginning to shape up as well for the remaining boats in this race. But coming down to the line, 30 meters from the finish, it's Cynthia Cole from Washington School trying to make sure she keeps it in the boat and fights off the advancing Cinda Grobard from Chinook. And at the finish line, winning the gold, Cynthia Cole of Washington School winning the gold in the women's lightweight single. Cinda Grobard from Chinook gets the silver. Here comes Dale Parenti from White Marsh. Then Ping Wang from Minneapolis and then Linda Porter from Potomac. The women's lightweight singles in the F category. Now back up the course for the G category in the women's lightweight singles. Linda Merck Gold from Vero Beach in lane 2. Adrienne Bryan from Chinook in lane 3. Kren Turen from Nashville in lane 4. And Jane Gray from Three Rivers in lane 5, and it is Adrian Bryan from Chinook in the lead by half a boat length over Cren Turen from Nashville as they reach the halfway point. Then Linda Gold from Vero Beach in third. Adrian Bryan leading at the halfway. Cren Turen from Nashville trying to creep up on Adrian Bryan from Chinook. G category, 65 to 69, the age range. What a great form these young ladies have as they come down the water here at Melton Lake. Adrian Bryan from Chinook glancing to her left to check on the competition. Cren Turen from Nashville sticking right there with her. Third place, Linda Gold from Vero Beach right now. That leaves Ann Jane Gray from Three Rivers in fourth. Adrian Bryan. Oh, a little bit of a bobble by Adrian Bryan. Here comes Cren Turen at the end. Minor bobble there, about 60 meters from the finish. Cren Turen trying to catch up. Looks like Adrian Bryan trying to recover. Cren Turen really on the move right now, moving up on the boat, but she's running out of water right at the finish line. Oh! Maybe 2 feet. Maybe 2 feet. Adrian Bryan from Chinook outpacing Cren Turen from Nashville. Wow, what a finish that was. A big move from Cren Turen after the bobble from Adrian Bryan. Linda Gold from Vero Beach crossing the line in third. And here comes Ann Jane Gray from Three Rivers in the women's lightweight single in the G category here at the 2017 Master National Championships. And Jane Gray from Three Rivers crossing the finish line.
Man.
And the championship races continue. As we have the women's lightweight singles in the H through J categories rolling down right now. 3 gold medals coming down. The J category, Louise Hastings of St. Catharines and Eve Green of Saugatuck in lanes 1 and 2. The I category, Sunny McLean from Saugatuck in lane 3. And then 4 boats racing for the H Gold. That's Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig from Maritime in lane 4. Janice Rogers from Boulder in lane 5. Mary Jane Worcester from Colorado in lane 6. And Mary Ellen Flaherty... Well, I wonder how Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig is racing in 2 lanes at the same time. Well, Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig is either in lane 4 or lane 7. I'm not sure. We'll see as they come by. Well, I sort that out. Joining us here in the tent near the finish line, the live stream tent. You're watching live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Sarah McAuliffe. McAuliffe. Oh, okay. I can't read somebody's handwriting
totally
here,
fine.
and it's not mine. Welcome, Sarah. The LOC, from the LOC here, and kind of the regatta princess, I guess you would say, of Oak Ridge. How are you doing, Sarah?
I am doing well. I'm loving this. This is super fun. Thank you. Yeah.
So you are a recent addition to the Oak Ridge team here. Tell us how you came into rowing and how you came into the Oak Ridge Rowing Center.
Yeah, totally. I'm actually originally from Massachusetts, so I grew up watching the sport of rowing. I didn't row in high school. I rowed at the University of Tennessee as a novice, and then got on the varsity team, raced in Oak Ridge all the time, fell in love with it, and then actually coached here 3 summers ago. I coached a Masters Learn to Row, and somebody was like, hey, I know your degree's in sport management. Would you be interested in doing this? Like, of course, sounds great. Had no idea kind of what I was getting myself into. Absolutely fell in love with it. So this is my 3rd year here. Loving it. First U.S. rowing regatta. So it's great. Yeah.
So what you said you got on as a novice in college, and you had seen it before? I mean, was it something that intrigued you as you were young, seeing it happen where you were growing up in Massachusetts?
Definitely. Being at the Charles all the time and just going as a spectator and seeing how in shape they were, and being an athlete, being a runner, playing soccer, it was something that I never knew I'd participate in, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity once I got to school.
We're watching the women's lightweight single final in the H through J categories. Louise Hastings, St. Catharines, Eve Green, Saugatuck, Sunny McLean, Saugatuck, Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig, Janice Rogers, and Mary Jane Worcester, all rowing right now. Mary Jane Worcester in lane 6, way out ahead of the crowd, and that is in the H category race that's going on. She is leading over Janice Rogers from Boulder and Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig from Maritime. In the meantime, Sunny McLean from Saugatuck in lane 3, racing on her own, or racing against herself, if you may, in the I category, and she's actually the second boat in the line right now, with Mary Ellen Flaherty and Ludwig and Janice Rogers battling it out for the H second place there in lanes 4 and 5. But crossing the lane second, but first in the I category, it's Sunny McLean from Saugatuck. 76 years old and still rowing strong. Here comes Janice Rogers from Boulder, crossing the line second in the H category. Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig from Maritime, they're in third in the H category. And that leaves the J category boats, 80 and above. Louise Hastings from St. Catharines crossing the line right there. And in second place in the J category will be Eve Green from Saugatuck, rowing into the finish lanes. So Sarah McAuliffe, the director here of the local organizing committee for the 2017 Master National Championships of rowing. What do you love about rowing? I mean, what kept you going? You like the fitness. You said you're a runner and the like. You've seen it, and obviously enjoy if you're still going and still trucking along. But what is it that is the magic for you?
It's the community for sure. Working here, being in rowing I've met so many cool people. Everybody loves the sport so much. Everybody kind of helps each other out. Everyone understands where everyone's coming from. So coming into a regatta like this, you meet people from, San Diego to Massachusetts, where I'm from, to, Florida. It's just great to see everybody has one common connection and coming back to Oak Ridge.
Some 1,300 Masters rowers competing here at Oak Ridge at Melton Hill Lake. Well, I want to ask you, Melton Lake, well, first I have to give a big shout out here to Eve Green from Saugatuck, crossing the line, second place in the category J. 85 years old, and I hope I row that well when I'm 85. I hope I can still row when I'm 85, to tell you the truth.
I agree.
As it goes along. And before we resume our conversation, I have to say that the men's open pairs final in the F category is racing right now. Chinook in lane 2, Greenwich in lane 3, Catawba in lane 4, Saugatuck in lane 5, and they are underway out of the breakage area and about 250 meters into the race right now. So 1,300 rowers here. You said it, Sarah. Everything from San Diego to Massachusetts, from Minneapolis to Florida,
right.
And it's great to see them all coming together under the banner of rowing.
Definitely. No.
Now, there's quite a history here at Oak Ridge. Did you feel any pressure coming in to do this after it's been around for so long, and you knew the reputation of the venue? So,
right.
did it feel you had something weighing you down at all?
Oh yeah. Anytime anyone comes to Oak Ridge, I take such pride in this, and I know everybody here takes such pride in this venue. It's been 10 years since Masters Nationals was here last. And I've heard through all these rowers how excited they were. They love the venue. They can't wait to experience it. So there's always pressure to kind of one up the next one. Yes, definitely.
So I know the sport is growing all across the nation. Do you see the growth in rowing here in Oak Ridge with the various clubs that are rowing here?
Definitely. Not only our regattas are growing, we added a new regatta this year, so that's been growing. We host a lot of spring training teams too, so that's been great. We had 37 teams come and train with us for spring training this year from all around the country. So super cool to see that growth as well.
Speaking with Sarah McAuliffe, the Director of Operations, I guess. What is your official title here, Sarah?
Right, I am the Regatta Director and Spring Training Director.
Okay, Regatta Director here at the Oak Ridge Rowing Center.
Correct.
And I have to ask, and I've been batting it around. I've called this Melton Hill Lake. I've called it Melton Lake. What is the official name of this body of water here at this venue?
So we are on the Clinch River, but this is Melton Lake.
It
right
is
here.
Melton Lake.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, it's off of the Clinch River.
Okay, because I've seen some online maps that call it Melton Hill Lake. Some, they call it Melton Lake, and I really wasn't sure. So thank you very much for straightening me out to make sure I know what I'm saying. So
that's totally fine.
So sweeper scull, which do you do and which do you prefer?
I love sweep. I miss the college days of being in an 8. I miss stroking. I miss being in that seat, but I love the single to death now. I'm not in it as much as I'd like to be right now, but hopefully soon.
You got little regatta things going on,
maybe
right?
after this we'll get back into that.
The men's open pairs coming to the finish line right now. In lane 3, the boat from Greenwich out in front with a little bit of an open water lead over Chinook. In the meantime, it's Catawba from down in North Carolina in 3rd place, with the Saugatuck boat in 4th. But coming to the finish line, winning the gold in the men's open pair final in the F category, it's the boat from Chinook, Souza and Tebay. Coming in 2nd, it's Busani. No, I'm not even going to try that. And there's a boat from Chinook, and here comes Catawba, Gilmore, and Walthall. And coming across the line in 4th in the men's open pairs final F category, the boat from Saugatuck here, the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. Meanwhile, back up the course, the women's lightweight singles in the D category. Rebecca Hollins from Capital in lane 1, Kim Cook from University in lane 2, Denise Sennett from Passaic River in lane 3, Mary Jakubowski from Wyandotte in lane 4, Anna Marie McCullough from Saugatuck in lane 5, and Carol Dinion from Potomac in lane 6. The women's lightweight singles, just crossing 250 meters into this 1,000-meter race, and they're looking pretty well lined up right now. So I know, and having been here for many regattas, Sarah, and really loving both the venue and this area, there's lots of stuff to do here around Oak Ridge that people aren't aware of. Why don't you share some of the secrets of the Secret City?
Yeah, definitely. So the Manhattan Project was here in Oak Ridge. A lot of people don't know that, or they're surprised once we start talking about that here. The American Museum of Science and Energy is a great place to go and kind of get that history and understand what's happening with that. So lots of tourists come in for that reason. Lots of people want to come here and experience where either their parents or their grandparents or great-grandparents worked during the Manhattan Project, which is super cool to understand.
And that's what the American Museum of Science and Energy is great for, and seeing how Oak Ridge went from just a couple of alleys to a secret city.
Right,
I mean,
totally.
the great storytelling there, and it's amazing to see some of the stuff that was done.
It is, and it's great. The museum also offers a private bus tour, and they go around kind of to the restricted areas. So you can go in, see behind the scenes, the uranium processor, all the cool things. Yeah,
what
it's
was
pretty
it?
impressive.
I was disappointed because I saw that the bus tour, and unfortunately, due to the hours of the regatta I have to work, I couldn't go on that tour.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to come back and do that another time. But yeah, a lot of fun, and a great proximity to Knoxville here too, with a lot going on in the big city there.
Definitely, there is never a dull moment in Knoxville, and it's really grown up. I've been here for almost 7 years, and it has grown up so much since I've started.
Any other fun things that you could recommend for both the Masters that are here at the venue and already in Oak Ridge, and for those who may come visit?
Totally. Well, I know everyone here is super active. We have a ton of great greenways. Rent a bike over next door to us at Adventure Outdoors. Take one of the greenways. Explore Oak Ridge has a tent up here, so you can get a map, explore all the hiking and trails and things like that. Definitely recommend it. Yeah.
A lot of fun here in the hills of Tennessee, and beautiful here on the Clinch River too. So, I know you're busy because you have a little regatta going on right now.
It's just a small thing.
Yeah, what other regatta? Well, I've been asked to ask you about the other regattas, but I want to bring people up to date with what's happening here in these lightweight singles. And it is Carol Dinion from Potomac trying to chase down the leaders. Coming to the finish line, Kim Cook from University in the lead over Rebecca Hollins from Capital, and she pulls a little bit harder, and it is Kim Cook from University winning the gold in the women's lightweight singles in the D category. Rebecca Hollins from Capital in second. Here comes Carol Dinion from Potomac stroking across to the bronze. In the meantime, a big move from Anna Marie McCullough from Saugatuck trying to catch up, but she does not quite catch up with the boat in lane 3 from Denise Sennett of Passaic River. She comes in fourth with Carol Dinion in fifth. McCullough in fifth. And crossing the line in sixth in the women's lightweight single final in the D category, it's the Wyandotte boat with Mary Jakubowski rowing to the finish line. So, big national championship here. I know there are a variety of regattas. You mentioned adding a regatta, but run through your regatta schedule for the year here at Oak Ridge so rowers may have a feel for what they may plan to visit Oak Ridge.
Yeah, we have a long list. Coming into the fall, we're heading into the Secret City Head Race. So, great regatta. We just start up past the railroad bridge, about 3K. Then we kick off spring season with the Louisville Cardinal Invite. The University of Louisville hosts it. We're the LOC. We have about 12 colleges that come in for an extremely competitive regatta. It's got more competitive over the last 2 years. Then after that, we have our own regatta. It's the Atomic City Turn and Burn, which is pretty unique. It's a 5,000-meter race in the morning, and then in the afternoon, based on your 5,000-meter time, you're seeded for the 2K. So you're seeded into lanes, and then combined time actually gets you the medal. So whoever has the fastest time is the winner. And so after that, where are we? So we're into April now. It's the Sierra Regatta. So a ton of people here have been commenting, oh, I was here for Sierras so many years ago. Oh, hold on one second.
Okay. Well, they take care of a little bit of regatta business. I want to tell you it's the men's lightweight double final in the D category right now. Navesink River Composite in lane 2. OKC River Sport Composite in lane 3. Chinook in lane 4. Malta in lane 5. And right now, looking strong and really moving that boat down the course is the Malta boat in lane 5. They are just ahead of the boat over in lane 2 from the Navesink River Composite. But here, what a strong finish in lane 5. It's Trocki and Cutler from Malta. winning the gold in the men's lightweight double final in Category D. What a nice row right there. Second belongs to Navesink River Composite. We have OKC River Sport Composite coming across now, heading towards the finish line, looking for a third-place finish. And that leaves Chinook in fourth for the men's lightweight doubles. And there goes Chinook. Meanwhile, back up the race course. The championship finals continue with the women's lightweight doubles final. Only two boats here, Chinook in lane 3 and Greater Houston in lane 4. Greater Houston has about a boat length on Chinook in the lightweight double final for the ladies in the B category. So, turn and burn. I think we were at turn and burn before we were interrupted.
Yes,
so the atomic turn and
sorry
burn.
about that.
You said a 5,000 race in the morning, seating for the 2,000 race in the afternoon.
Correct.
And combined time is what
Combined
gets you the
times
win.
wins.
Wow.
Yeah, so really unique, really good way to start off the year. We just last year did just juniors, but we had a ton of college teams and actually masters reaching out if they could participate. So we wanted to kind of start off small, but this year we definitely want to open it up to more levels. So definitely recommend a good way to enter into the season in a fun way.
So that was, what do you say, April is when that happens?
It is end of March.
End of March.
End of
okay.
March, correct.
Oh, so then April was the Sierras.
April is Sierras.
Oh, okay. Now I
yes,
remember.
yes.
I'm catching up.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, so we've hosted Sierras here for 37 years, I want to say at this
Wow.
point. I could be off by a year or two. It's a great event. It gets equally as packed, just as many trailers. It's a great experience. A little bit shorter, 2 days of racing, but super competitive. And then we're in middle of April, and it's our Dogwood Junior event.
The Dogwood Invitational. Yes.
My favorite. Yes,
Yes,
that
indeed.
is our absolute favorite. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that this year. As many people have heard, we had our course issue with flooding kind of took out our course.
Wow.
We had a ton of debris. The flow rate increased to 20,000+. So we had to scrap that regatta this year. Hard decision, but it was out of safety for all the rowers. They couldn't be out on the water.
Oh, glad to hear it's coming back next
It
year.
is. We are excited.
Greater Houston continuing to lead the boat from Chinook. They're very close together in this race with the women's lightweight double final in the B category. They've been close all the way down the course, but it has been Greater Houston out in front since about 300 meters, and here they come. They maintain their technique through the last 5 strokes. They will take home the gold in the women's lightweight double final in the B category. Greater Houston winning the gold. All right, Dogwood and on.
We are at Dogwood, and now we're in early May, so we have our Big 12 championship. Super competitive, super cool this year with Texas coming out in the lead. So it's 8 teams, I think, so a kind of smaller regatta on our end. And then we are at Dogwood Masters, so back with the Masters. We started at the 1K. We have a little bit different course, so starting 1K to our 2K finish line. Starting with our normal 2K start to dock. So it's a little bit different, but same idea. And then we are here.
Back again.
Back again at Masters Nationals.
Well, Sarah, I know you're busy. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us this
Definitely.
afternoon.
Thank
and
you, guys.
share. It's great to see you, and congratulations on great Masters National Championships.
Thank you. We're happy to have everyone.
Sarah McAuliffe, she is the Director of Regattas and the Spring Coach here at the Oak Ridge Rowing Center. Doing a great job in keeping this regatta moving smoothly. And speaking to smooth, looking smooth, it's the men's lightweight doubles racing right now. And boy, it is quite a race shaping up out front in this race. Lincoln Park in lane 2, Greater Dayton Composite in lane 3, Austin Composite in lane 4, and Riverfront Recapture in lane 5 in the men's lightweight double final for the B category. A lot of nice rowing here at Melton Lake in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. If you want to check it out, well, you can see plenty of it right here on this live stream of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. Greater Dayton Composite way out in front right now here in the men's lightweight double final. If my eyes don't deceive me on the bow number that I'm reading. Right behind them, it's the Austin Composite in lane 4. Then Riverfront Recapture and Lincoln Park in that order. Looking strong and confident. The boat in lane 3 from the Greater Dayton Composite. Looking in good shape. Heading towards a gold medal in the men's lightweight double final in the B category. Just 20 meters from the finish. There they go, winning the gold. Federer and Bim from Greater Dayton. The Greater Dayton Composite right there winning. Second place belonging to the Austin Composite. Here comes Riverfront Recapture in those green unis trying to stay ahead of Lincoln Park and capturing the third place in the men's lightweight doubles. And they do with Lincoln Park in fourth. Just as quick as they cross the line, another race starts. The Women's Open AA Pairs Final. CRI in lane 1, St. Louis in lane 2, Austin in lane 3, San Diego in lane 4, CRI in lane 5, and CRI in lane 6. That's right, 3 CRI boats competing here for the A gold in the final. Meantime, another CRI boat in the AA category, racing in lane 7 and racing themselves for that gold. John Wilder, the U.S. rowing referee who we spoke with yesterday on the live stream broadcast, had a great line about the pairs. How the pairs event was created for the pure amusement of the U.S. rowing referees following the race as they're watching it go down. My counting's working right now. It's a CRI boat out front, which would be easy to say since there are 4 CRI boats in this race. But it's the lane 5 boat of Christmas and Parfit from CRI out in the lead in this women's open pair final. The St. Louis boat, lane 2 in second right now. Meanwhile, the CRI boat in lane 1 and the one in lane 6 moving right along. It looks like Austin might be, or San Diego maybe. I don't know. They're kind of mixed up in the lanes here. One of those two just behind. But, boy, they are really moving out in lane 5 in that CRI boat. Meanwhile, in the AA boat in lane 7, maneuvering close to the shore but straightening their way back out. The lead boat from CRI already into the red buoys, 250 meters from the finish. Being pursued by the boat from St. Louis in lane 2. Hard to call third right now. The CRI boat in lane 1 and the, I believe it is, the Austin boat in lane 3 kind of battling for third right now. Then it's back to the CRI boat in lane 6 and the San Diego boat in that order, but crossing the line and winning the gold. It's Christmas and Parfit from CRI in the Women's Open Pairs Final in the A category. St. Louis coming in second for the silver, and here comes a battle for third between CRI and Austin, and I think the CRI boat in lane 1 may have won. CRI in lane 6 crossing in 5th. And here comes Rogers and Cunningham from CRI in the AA category getting a gold. But San Diego rolling up for 6th place in the A category. Women's Open AA Pairs Final. Back up we go to about the 600-meter mark for the next race, already roaring down the course. The Men's Open AA double final. New Orleans in lane 1, Wyandotte in lane 2, Greenwich in lane 3, Lincoln Park in lane 4, Dallas in lane 5, and an unaffiliated boat in lane 6. The Men's Open double final in the AA category. The AA being 21 through 26. The youngest of the Masters rowers rowing this afternoon. And this might be a real dogfight when it comes down to it. Less than 250 meters from the finish and a gold. Looks like Wyandotte beginning to pick up the pace, trying to catch up with Greenwich. Greenwich right there, trying to fight on down the line with the Dallas boat, as well as the Lincoln Park boat. But it's a duel on the far side of the course. Wyandotte pouring it on fast, trying to overcome Greenwich in the Men's Open double final. Both these crews beginning to ply those oars deep into the water. Wyandotte passing the Greenwich boat, but Greenwich coming back and it's going back and forth at the finish. And I think that's a photo finish, ladies and gentlemen. I won't call that. Wyandotte and Greenwich going bow ball to bow ball. Just amazing. Then it was Dallas, followed by the unaffiliated boat. Lincoln Park after that. And New Orleans finishing 6th in the Men's Open double final in the AA's. What a finish there. Wyandotte and Greenwich battling back and forth in the final 50 meters. Photo finish too close to call. Women's lightweight pairs in the E category next. On the water, Chinook in lane 1, Atomic in lane 2, Rocket City lane 3. Two more boats from Chinook, one in lane 4, one in lane 5, and Lincoln Park in lane 6, the women's lightweight doubles in the E category. Up next, it's the women's lightweight double final in the E category. Chinook in lane 1, Atomic lane 2, Rocket City lane 3, Chinook lane 4 out in the lead right now. Another Chinook boat in lane 5, and Lincoln Park in lane 6. They're through the halfway point. The Chinook boat in lane 4 had a quite substantial lead the last glance I had. There's that Chinook boat out in the lead in lane 4. Rocket City right behind them. Atomic not far off the pace either, along with the other Chinook boats. Looks like Atomic and Rocket City will be dueling it out. It's Barr and Walters from Chinook. In the lane 4, crossing the finish line, grabbing the gold in the women's lightweight double final in the E category. In the meantime, here's Atomic and Rocket City beginning to duel it out at the finish, and charging up in the outside, Chinook and Lincoln Park at the finish line. Too close to call between Rocket City and Atomic. Also too close to call there between Chinook and Lincoln Park. And then here comes the other Chinook boat across the line in 6th place. Boy, what a finish for the women's lightweight double final in the E category. Just amazing. Reminder, if your rowing day is finished, to visit the many vendors lining the peninsula here at Oak Ridge. Good eats, interesting rowing merchandise, boats galore, and more. Check it all out here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships, with the next race, the next gold medal race on the water, the mixed fours final for the F category, with San Diego Composite in lane 1, Chinook B in lane 2, Greater Columbus in lane 3, Asheville in lane 4, and Three Rivers in lane 5. 5 boats in this mixed 4 final in the F category. Very evenly matched coming off the starting line right now. Through 250 meters, still paddling hard. Slide advantage, I would say, to the Three Rivers boat, but Chinook's right there with them, as is the San Diego boat. Greater Columbus and Asheville not far behind, still in touch. Chinook B trying to make sure they stay ahead of the boat from Three Rivers. Three Rivers right there dogging them. San Diego hanging on as well. Greater Columbus in 4th at this point. Asheville in 5th in this 5-boat race. Halfway through with Chinook in lane 2. The Chinook B boat still in the lead in the mixed 4 final in the F category. Chinook and Three Rivers back and forth here in the mixed 4s. 200 meters from the finish. Chinook still in the lead with Three Rivers right there. San Diego as well, sticking with them. Greater Columbus in fourth and Asheville in fifth. See who has what in their gas tank for this final sprint down to the finish and the gold medal. Chinook continuing to move steadily forward. The Chinook B boat. And here they come to the finish line in the mixed four final for the F category, with Chinook B winning in lane 2. A battle for second, San Diego and Three Rivers going back and forth, back and forth. Slight advantage to San Diego, and they do cross first with Three Rivers right behind them. Then comes the boat from Greater Columbus. And rounding out the mixed four final in the F category, it's the boat from Asheville in lane 4, crossing the line in 5th. That was the F category in the mixed fours. The 60 to 64-year-olds now to the G and one entry for the H categories in the mixed fours. Texas Center B in lane 2, Texas Center in lane 3, Chinook in lane 4, and Masters Coaching Composite in lane 5, all racing for the G category gold in the mixed fours. Chinook C in lane 5 is racing itself for the H category gold. Early lead right here for Chinook again. Chinook trying to reassert themselves. I've been saying their name a lot today, said it a lot yesterday. Imagine I'll be saying it more tomorrow and Sunday too. Chinook in the lead with Texas Center A right behind them, and the Texas Center B boat just right there as well. They're only about a half a boat length apart from first to third. Chinook has half a boat length on the Texas Center A boat, and the Texas Center B boat is about a third of a boat length back from that in third at the 500-meter mark. Then the Masters Coaching Composite, lane 5, about a boat length open water behind the third place boat. And Chinook C, the boat racing in the H category, the 70 to 74-year-olds in lane 6, moving right along and trying to keep up with that Masters Coaching Composite boat. Chinook, though, looking very prevalent here in this race in the mixed fours for the G category. We'll see if one of the Texas boat has anything to challenge Chinook as they are 300 meters from the finish line. The second of 4 championship final afternoons here at the Masters National Championships. Tomorrow morning heats and finals again tomorrow afternoon, and again on Sunday. All broadcast live streamed right here on the US Rowing YouTube channel. Chinook continuing to lead here in the mixed 4G category. Distances about the same amongst the competitors, though the Texas A boat has advanced a little bit up and eaten into a bit of the lead for Chinook. The Texas B boat, though, has lost a little of that ground, while the Texas A boat has moved forward to challenge the Chinook boat. 50 meters from the finish line, and the gold medal in the mixed 4 final for the G category here at the Masters National Championship. Chinook looking to add to their team point challenge. They cross and get the gold in the G category. Texas A boat right behind them on their stern. Then the Texas B boat in third in the G category. Fourth will belong to the boat, the Masters Coaching Composite boat. Then racing on their own in the H category, Chinook C crossing for the gold right behind the Masters Coaching Composite. So Masters Coaching Composite there in fourth. And there with the gold in the H category, Chinook. Singles scullers back on now. The women's open singles and G through J final. I checked my heat sheet here. I think that most of them are in the H category, though there are 3 in the G. So the H category are lanes 1 through 4. The G category, lanes 5, 6, and 7. It's Barbara O'Neill from Greenwich in lane 1. Libby Bean from Cincinnati in lane 2. Barbara Hogan from Vesper in lane 3. Karen Hurd from Chinook in lane 4. Liz Turner from Saugatuck in lane 5. Patricia Coyle from Atlanta in lane 6. And Susan Morris from Greenwich in lane 7. Again, lanes 1 through 4 racing in the H category. 5, 6, and 7 in the G category. G being 65 to 69. H 70 to 74. Looks like Liz Turner from Saugatuck leading in a G category. Karen Hurd from Chinook in first in the H category with Libby Bean in second and Barbara Hogan of Vesper in third in the G category. I mean the H category. Patricia Coyle from Atlanta battling with Liz Turner for Saugatuck for that first place in the G category. Looks like Karen Hurd from Chinook continuing to lead Libby Bean from Cincinnati in the H category race going on. Liz Turner from Saugatuck out in front for the G category race going on. Looks like Barbara Hogan from Vesper beginning to challenge Libby Bean from Cincinnati for that second place berth. Liz Turner from Saugatuck facing a challenge from Patricia Coyle from Atlanta now as they enter the last 200 meters of these championship races. Karen Hurd from Chinook leading the women's open single H final for the moment. Second place belongs to Barbara Hogan from Vesper. Third to Libby Bean from Cincinnati. Patricia Coyle from Atlanta has just passed Liz Turner from Saugatuck in the G category. Coming down to it, Karen Hurd from Chinook still looking strong in the H category. Glancing over her shoulder, she's still leading all the racers. But here comes Patricia Coyle from Atlanta pouring it on. But it is Karen Hurd from Chinook winning the gold in the H category. Patricia Coyle from Atlanta, the gold in the G category, with second going to Liz Turner. Then it's Barbara Hogan from Vesper in second in the G category. Elizabeth Bean from Cincinnati in third. Susan Morris from Greenwich will be moving up here and capture third in the G category. And then rounding out the Women's Open G through J singles final from Greenwich, Barbara O'Neill in the H category. Another reminder from U.S. Rowing that the awards tent is now open. It will be open till 6:45. You can send one representative from your team to pick up medals. They are located in the awards tent near the finish line and video tent. Pick up your medals from yesterday's and today's event. But again, just one team member, please, to pick up those medals. It cuts down on the confusion. So Barbara O'Neill from Greenwich wrapping up the Women's Open Single G through J final. So we go back up to the start for quads. The Men's Open quads in the G category. In this race, it's Nashville in lane 1, Asheville Composite in lane 2, Cincinnati Composite in lane 3, Rio Salado Composite in lane 4, Palm Beach in lane 5, Rockford Composite lane 6, and San Diego in lane 7. The Men's Open Quad Final in the G category, 65 to 69 years old. And they are racing down the track, I tell you what. Palm Beach looks like they're out to an early lead and an extensive early lead. Or is that Rockford Composite? Actually, that's Rockford Composite that's way out there. Palm Beach right behind them. Look at these rowers working together. Going for the gold in the Men's Open Quad Final. It's Rockford Composite in the lead, Palm Beach in second. Cincinnati Composite looks like they're hanging in third right now, and it looks like they may be trying to take over second from that Palm Beach boat. But a sweet swing to the boat out in front in lane 6, the Rockford Composite, reaching for that gold medal at the finish line in the Men's Open Quad Final in the G category, and they cross the line for the gold. In the meantime, it's Cincinnati and Palm Beach beginning to duke it out. It looks like it's going to be tight at the line. Again, hard to call. Maybe another photo finish. I don't know for sure whether Palm Beach caught up with them or not. We'll have to wait and see. Here comes Rio Salado's Composite, crossing in fourth, followed by the Nashville boat, then San Diego crossing in sixth. That'll leave the Asheville Composite in seventh in the Men's Open Quad Final in the G category. And Asheville crosses the line to wrap up the men's open quad final in the G category. The men's open quad final for H through J. Racing next, Colorado Composite in lane 3, Berkeley Composite in lane 4, Saugatuck in lane 5 in the H category. Just H category boats racing in this next race, the men's open quad. Just, I guess you could call it the H final. Looks like Berkeley's Composite with a fight going on. Saugatuck and Berkeley Composite battling here. From the beginning, the Berkeley Composite boat had quite a lead, and they are maintaining that lead as they stroke the final 60 meters to the finish line. And a championship final in the men's open quad H category. Good-looking composite boat crossing the finish line for the gold. Here comes Saugatuck, finishing second. Actually, I said H category. This is an I category boat in lane 3, the Colorado Composite, with an average age of 79. So the Berkeley Composite boat will win the gold in the H category, and here comes the Colorado Composite boat looking for a gold in the I category. Here they go, sprinting to the finish. The Colorado Composite boat winning the gold in the men's open quad final in the I category. Now back to the 55 to 59 age range for the women's open singles. Kristen Miller from Minneapolis in lane 1. Alex James from Vesper in lane 2. Roseanne Kirchhoff from DWRA Detroit out in the lead right now in lane 3. Elizabeth Runn from Martha's Moms in lane 4. Catherine McGill from Chinook in lane 5. And Beth Parker from Peachtree City in lane 6. Fast-moving races here on this Friday afternoon of finals at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters Nationals Championship. Roseanne Kirchhoff from Detroit still out in the lead, a substantial lead in this race right now. It looks like quite the battle was shaping up for second and third. Look at these boats so close together. A big push coming on from Catherine McGill of Chinook, trying to take over second place, moving fast. As Kristen Miller from Minneapolis, who had been in second, is beginning to slip. And here comes Catherine McGill from Chinook. Big push at the end. It is going to be Roseanne Kirchhoff from Detroit winning the gold, with Catherine McGill getting the silver. Kristen Miller from Minneapolis in third. Then Alex James from Vesper in fourth. Elizabeth Runn from Martha's Moms in fifth. And Beth Parker from Peachtree City will be in sixth. In the women's open single final in the E category. Peachtree City Rowing Club, by the way, in Peachtree City, Georgia, established just a couple of years ago. Matter of fact, 2 years ago this month, August 2015. The Peachtree City Rowing Club, not-for-profit tax-exempt organization, making a vibrant rowing community within Fayette County. Peachtree City, Georgia, represented there by Beth Parker. More singles now. It's the men's lightweight singles in the E category, with Peter Kosic from Austin in lane 1, Kerry Young from Texas Center in lane 2, Ted Trocchi from Malta in lane 3, Rob Glidden from Long Beach in lane 4, Peter Pietra from Potomac in lane 5, and Robert Reichert from Chinook in lane 6. The men's lightweight finals in the E category. On the water right now at 55 to 59 stretch. Robert Reichert from Chinook out in the lead, but Peter Pietra from Potomac right there with him, just a half a boat length behind. In the meantime, Kerry Young from Texas Center in third, Ted Trocchi from Malta in fourth, Rob Glidden from Long Beach right there challenging for that fourth spot as well. Reichert from Chinook continuing to lead in the men's lightweight singles final. Peter Pietra from Potomac in second. That's through the 500-meter mark. Here they come, the men's lightweight singles in the E category coming down the line right now. Robert Reichert from Chinook has been leading since before the halfway point. Peter Pietra from Potomac still sitting there in second. Across to Ted Trocchi from Malta in third. Kerry Young from Texas Center in fourth. As they come to the line, a strong showing from Robert Reichert of Chinook, crossing the line and winning the gold medal in the men's lightweight single E category final. Peter Pietra from Potomac, big strong push at the end, comes in second. Ted Trocchi from Malta in third. Kerry Young from Texas Center crossing in fourth. Rob Glidden from Long Beach in fifth. Live streaming of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships from Oak Ridge, Tennessee and Melton Lake. Underway the second day of finals in this championship regatta. Second of 4 days of gold medal finals, and the Women's Open 4 C category race championship is on the line right now. Chinook out in the lead early at CRIB in lane 1, Masters Coaching in lane 2, Capital in lane 3, Chinook in lane 4, Texas Center in lane 5, and Alexandria in lane 6. Chinook out, lead over Capital in second right now. Hard to find third between Texas Center and the Masters Coaching boat. Then Alexandria and CRIB boat, but out front and looking strong is the Chinook boat. Chinook leading Capital. No one out of this race yet. Chinook still with a comfortable lead here in the Women's Open 4s C category final. Looks like the fight might be for second as they come down to the line. 2017 Masters National Championships, the Women's Open 4s in the C category. Looking for the gold. Here comes Chinook in lane 4, crossing the finish line to grab that gold. In the meantime, here comes the fight for second. CRIB crossing just ahead of the boat from Capital. CRI sneaking up at the end there. Then Texas Center, Alexandria, and the Masters Coaching boat. In that order, in the Women's Open 4s final for the C category. Same age group, 43 to 49 for the next final. The Men's Open Single. Peter King from S&M in lane 1. Thomas Carr from White Rock in lane 2. Bob Borberg from Vesper in lane 3. Chris Palmquist from Long Beach in lane 4, Dietmar Kudelwasser from Nashville in lane 5, and Sean Wolf from Palm Beach in lane 6. Kudelwasser with quite a showing the other day. We'll see if he can be as dominant this time in this race. Kudelwasser going out early again, already a boat length lead over the field. Second place belonging to Thomas Carr at White Rock at this point. Third place kind of hard to call. Dietmar Kudelwasser from Nashville trying to get another gold here at the 2017 U.S. Masters National Championships. Very dominating in his earlier race yesterday. Looks like he's trying to do the same today. And they may not make it easy on him, because here comes a big charge happening right now. Peter King from S&M and Bob Borberg from Vesper beginning to kick it in. Dietmar Kuschelbauer trying to keep up a long lead in the beginning, but right now, stroking fast towards the finish, it is Bob Borberg from Vesper, working hard. In the meantime, over on the far side, Peter King from S&M has taken over second place. Dietmar Kuschelbauer trying to keep up with them, but it is Bob Borberg from Vesper winning the gold with Peter King from S&M in second, Dietmar Kuschelbauer in third. Thomas Carr from White Rock will be in fourth, with Sean Wolf from Palm Beach in fifth, and Chris Palmquist from Long Beach in sixth. In the men's open singles final in the C category. What a finish, the last 150 meters. Just crazy. Meanwhile, the women's open double A category final on the water and through 300 meters, with Milwaukee in lane 1, Sarasota Scullers in lane 2, Austin in lane 3, Vesper in lane 4, CRI in lane 5, and Riverfront Recapture in lane 6. Milwaukee Rowing Club, represented there in lane 1, based of course in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, formed in 1914. Club also the home of the Marquette University crew team, which started in 1991. Again, Milwaukee in lane 1, Sarasota Scullers lane 2, Austin lane 3, Vesper lane 4, CRI 5, Riverfront Recapture in lane 6. Vesper is pushing forward and trying to stay out in front there in lane 4. In the meantime, Riverfront Recapture is sneaking up on the outside. The Milwaukee boat not out of it either. But it's Sarasota Scullers trying to move forward and give a challenge up front. Big sprint coming on right now as Vesper continues to cling to the lead, but they have a firm grip right now. But the Sarasota Scullers are beginning to skim across the water, trying to catch up with that boat from Vesper. "50 meters from the finish, the women's open double final in the A category for the Masters National Championship, looking for the gold. And Vesper crosses the line first for the gold. Sarasota Scullers pursuing will get the silver. Here comes the boat from Austin trying to cling to to the bronze in third, while the Riverfront Recapture boat comes zooming up, but they will not have enough water to catch up, so they will end up in fourth, just out of the medals. In the meantime, CRI coming in, trying to stroke down into the fifth spot in the women's open doubles A category final, and that leaves the boat from Milwaukee in sixth in the women's open double final here at the Masters National in the A category. As we're beginning to wind down on the competition here, just a handful of races left in this Friday afternoon finals of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. We have the men's open double final on the water right now. Greater Columbus in lane 1, Greater Houston in lane 2, Detroit lane 3, Austin lane 4, 612 Endurance Composite lane 5, and New Orleans Composite in lane 6. The Greater Columbus boat with an advantage for the moment, but it is the boat from Greater Houston right there with them, as well as Austin, 612 Endurance. Really interesting to see how they're shaping up. New Orleans Composite in lane 6, just off the pace slightly. Happens with composite boats, though. But the 612 Endurance Composite out in front. Greater Columbus in second. Houston and Austin beginning to battle it out. Detroit in lane 3, just ahead of the New Orleans Composite in lane 6. They come down into view. And as you're wandering around after your day of rowing and competing here at the Masters Nationals, remember, you can walk past the beer garden, past the awards tent. We have some wonderful vendors at the end of the peninsula, including Grand Oaks Elementary School, their tent. Stop by and get chicken wraps and chicken nachos with all the trimmings and chips. All chicken orders are $7. That's the Grand Oaks Elementary School tent, just past the awards tent and the beer garden. So wait to quench your thirst, get a bite to eat first. Then you can go rehydrate yourself in the beer tent. But plenty more to see. And the racing ain't over yet. As the battle continues, the 612 Endurance Composite, Greater Houston beginning to duke it out. And Greater Columbus moving on in lane 1. Out in the lead, trying to stave off the last-minute pushes. Big push from 612 Endurance. It is Greater Columbus winning the gold. 612 Endurance next. Greater Houston in third, just eking out a win over the boat from Austin. But wow, what a row for Greater Columbus. Waterfield and Shepherd winning the gold in the men's open double final in the A category. Big push from 612 Endurance right at the end. Looks like they might have tried to catch up. Then Detroit crossing the line in 5th. And New Orleans Composite in 6th in the men's open double final. Great row for Greater Columbus. We saw the women's 4 without. Now we have the men's 4 without. The E and F men's open 4 without racing. One boat, the boat from Detroit in lane 2, rowing down an age group. They're a category G and they're racing in the category F here. So the lineup, Chinook in lane 1, Detroit in lane 2, Greenwich Crew Composite lane 3, Maine Association Composite lane 4, San Diego lane 5, Riverfront Recapture lane 6, Virginia Composite in lane 7 in the men's open 4 without final. Most racing, well, there's a couple of races happening here. The F category, Chinook, Detroit, Greenwich. That's 1, 2, 3 racing on the far side of the course. They're going for the gold in the F category. In the E category, Maine, San Diego, Riverfront, Recapture, and Virginia Composite in 4, 5, 6, and 7. And early on in the race, it is the Greenwich Crew Composite that has a slight advantage over both Detroit and the Maine Association Composite. Virginia Composite in there as well. Then it's Chinook and San Diego. But 3 boats across. With Greenwich, Maine, and San Diego kind of dueling in the center of the, Riverfront Recapture dueling in the middle. San Diego trailing the field slightly. Greenwich Composite and the Maine Association Composite dueling it out in the center of the course here in the men's open 4 without final in the E and F categories. They are in 2 different categories, but that doesn't keep them from racing. The Maine Association beginning to pour it out and walk away from the field now. Maine Association Composite in lane 4 beginning to walk away from the field. Greenwich Composite trying to keep up with them. In the meantime, a big charge coming out over here in lane 6 from Riverfront Recapture. As they come to the line, winning the E category in the men's open 4 without, it's the Maine Association Composite. Winning in the F category, it's the Greenwich Crew Composite. Second in the E category, Riverfront Recapture. Third goes to Virginia Composite in that E category. Detroit in the G category comes in second. In the F category, actually, they're a G boat. Then there was Chinook. And San Diego rounds out the field there in the men's open 4 without EF final. Again, a reminder that there are vendors at the end of the peninsula as well as before the beer tent. So please go beyond the beer tent, beyond the awards tent. Take a small walk, loosen up from that hard row, and wrap it up at the Grand Oaks Elementary School tent for chicken wraps and chicken nachos with all the trimmings and chips, all just $7. You walk down to the end of the peninsula and check them out. Give them a little love and thank them for supporting the Masters National Championships. The men's open 4 without final in the D category includes 4 boats: Riverfront Recapture in lane 2, Swan Creek in lane 3, New Haven Composite in lane 4, and Texas Center in lane 5. Looks like Swan Creek out there early, just 400 meters in, already a boat length and a little open water in front of New Haven Composite and Texas Center, well in front of the Riverfront Recapture. Halfway point, and they are about 2 boat lengths of open water out, and they are just flying on down the way. Swan Creek Rowing Club, based in Lambertville, New Jersey, named for Swan Creek, the leading tributary flowing through Lambertville, New Jersey, to the Delaware River. The club recently moved from its longtime home on Lewis Island. The Swan Creek Rowing Club roaring out to a lead here in the men's open 4 without final in the D category. Texas Center, though, wants to give them a run for their money. So does New Haven Composite. But out front with a comfortable lead here in the D category men's open 4 without final, Swan Creek. Nice shot there. The Swan Creek boat racing towards the finish, and hopefully that gold. And it's going to be an interesting finish for second, but here comes Swan Creek, the Swan Creek Rowing Club, winning gold in the men's open 4 without D category final. Coming up, trying to pass in second, it is the Texas Center, just edging out the New Haven Composite. And then finishing fourth in the men's open 4 without D category final, it's Riverfront Recapture. Just a pair of races left here on this Friday of finals at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Beautiful Melton Lake hosting this regatta again after a few years. Mixed 8 B category final coming up in a moment. Capital in lane 1. Asheville in lane 2, Western Reserve in lane 3, Greenwich in lane 4, Capital B in lane 5, and Masters Coaching Composite in lane 6, and they are underway and away from the starting dock. Greenwich with a fast start, but being followed by Capital's B boat and the Western Reserve boat. They're going through and going quite a pace right now. The mixed 8s, 4 men, 4 women athletes in each of these boats, and coxswain of either sex allowed, but the rowers have to be equally paired between males and females. Western Reserve out to an early lead, almost a boat length. Greenwich right there with them, as is Asheville. Looks like Capital on the far side trying to stick close as well. The coxswain of the Western Reserve boat glancing over to see the Greenwich bow ball. And just to her left, the Capital bow ball. Asheville right there, right lurking behind her as well. The big 8s, the mixed 8s, on the water and racing here, going for the gold at the Masters National Championship. What a beautiful shot there of this wonderful venue. If you're watching the live stream, seeing those green hills of Tennessee, and the beautiful Clinch River, Melton Lake here on the Clinch River. Western Reserve plowing forward, still leading in this mixed 8 final. But as we've seen so many times today and yesterday, it ain't over till it's over. The big charge begins in the mixed 8s. Western Reserve continuing to lead. Greenwich right there in second. Capital B boat trying to challenge for third right now. The Capital A boat in third. Asheville right in that mix as well. Masters Coaching Composite not left out, but stroking towards the gold. The championship in the mixed 8 final in the B category. Western Reserve strong from the start and continuing strong strokes going to the finish, and they win the gold medal. Western Reserve, 10 meters of open water. Greenwich surging forward. They will have second place. The Capital B boat coming in third. Capital A in fourth. Then here comes a big surge from the Masters Coaching Composite, and I think they beat Asheville to the line for the 5th spot. And then that leaves Asheville in 6th in the mixed 8s. The B category. The final race of this Friday finals at the Masters National Championships. It's the parent-child father-son race. In lane 3, it's Flynn and Flynn from Carnegie Lake. In lane 4, Charette and Charette from Wyandotte. And in lane 5, Stone and Stone from Litchfield Hills. Going for the parent-child doubles final. Father-son. Charette and Charette from Wyandotte out in front of Flynn and Flynn from Carnegie Lake, and then Stone and Stone from the Litchfield Hills crew in third in this parent-child father-son double final. The Charrettes from Wyandotte putting on a clinic. Several boat lengths ahead of the Flynn's from Carnegie Lake and the Stones from Litchfield Hills. The Charrettes from Wyandotte continuing to lead here in the parent-child double final. They are the youngest boat on the course right now, average age-wise, 34 their average age. The Stones of Litchfield Hills with an average age of 38, and the Flynn's of Carnegie Lake an average age of 50. The father-son double final here at the 2017 Masters National Championships. And it's the Charrettes from Wyandotte finishing for the gold. The Flynn's from Carnegie Lake coming across for second place. And then the Stones from Litchfield Hills wrapping up this Friday finals at the Nationals for Masters. And there we go, another day of racing done here at the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters Nationals. Finals will begin again streaming on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel at 1:30. That is barring any weather or fog delay in the morning. We have had fog delays both the days, first 2 days of this competition. May have it again tomorrow. So remember, it might be an hour-long delay, so it may not start till 2:30. But thank you for watching. Live streaming coverage of the 2017 U.S. Rowing Masters Nationals from Oak Ridge, Tennessee.